Hello, everybody. Welcome to Silent Podcast, where the place where everything but silent. I'm your host, Isaiah. And we have a very chill, non-serious, but fun podcast for you guys today. I'm here with Silent Podcast Survivor expert and queen herself, Gia Worthy. Gia, what's going on?
Hi, Isaiah. Thank you so much for having me for this very important episode. However, I'm going to disagree with you right off the bat because this will honestly be the most serious podcast, quite possibly, I have ever done in my life and will ever do in my life. I take this, maybe the Ava Coleman Survivor watch list, I put a lot more, I took very, very seriously. But then, other than that, it's this one. This is so much is going to be going into this.
Absolutely. Listen, we are here to rank every total drama character. We're not going to rank redonkulous characters, but we're just going to rank the total drama island, action, world tour, Pakithew, and Revenge of the Island characters. All stars, I guess, if you want to count that. But yeah, we're going to rank all of them. Listen, so for me, obviously, I'm the Big Brother expert. She's the Survivor expert, so this is fun. I first, before even watching Big Brother and Survivor, watched Total Drama Island. So I guess you can credit Total Drama for me being on these internet communities, definitely, because funny story, I got into like Pokemon and Total Drama, and then I searched up Total Pokemon Island, and there's a whole community of that. So had it not been for that, I wouldn't be here. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I would not be into these social strategy games without Total Drama Island. This was my first introduction to them, and the rest is history. So I love this show. I'm very hyped that it's coming back. Gia, what is your experience with Total Drama, and like what is your history with it? Like, why are you such a fan of it?
Mine is actually kind of the opposite of yours. I did not watch Total Drama until I was probably like 20, maybe like 19, around there. Like I was much older when I watched Total Drama. It was not when it first aired. I actually watched it for the first time on Netflix. But because I had been a Survivor fan since I was very young, I got the idea of what the show was about. I remember seeing ads for it when I was younger, but for whatever reason, it just it probably just wasn't on when I was watching, or like what was happening with it. But I saw it on Netflix and I heard people talking about it before. Like, people on Twitter, they'll like reference it randomly and stuff. I did not know very much about it, but I did know that it was like a cartoon game show. So I looked it up a little bit, and it was basically like a parody of Survivor. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. That sounds like something that I would be into. I was looking for like an animated show to relax to, just something easy to watch in between all of like the reality TV, like dramas, comedies, like all the sitcoms that I watch and everything. And let me tell you, Isaiah, the first season, I could not have asked for something better to fill in that time, because I was hooked from very early on, like maybe like 1 or 2 episodes in. I was hooked to it. I was like, I need to see more of this. I'm not a huge fan of some of the returning players' storylines after the first season, so we will get into that. I will be holding season 1 very highly compared to some of the other seasons when we're making this ranking, but overall, I do really like the show as a whole. And even the seasons that get a lot of flack, like with the new generation cast, Revenge of the Island and Pakithew, there are several characters in each iteration of that cast that I really like. So, while the first generation cast is probably the one that gets the most hype, there are several characters that I do think very highly of in the other generations as well.
I agree with you. I think Pakithew specifically very like tropey. I'm excited to talk about this because I'm looking at the list that we have. They have every character in order. So that's always a fun time. But so real quick, let me look in the chat real quick. This is a stream, but it's also going to go on YouTube, so it's a podcast at the same time. But Natalie says, "Oh, I cannot wait." We got my friend Reggie says, "Yo." Joey is saying, "Extremely important podcast." I agree.
Joey gets it.
Total Drama got me into Big Brother and Survivor. Can't wait to hear these rankings. Love when you did the Big Brother house guest winners. Thank you so much. Shout out to Lavina. Also, for anybody who is just here for the podcast, shout out to Sabrina. We have a podcast series called I Want to Be Famous, where she's never seen Total Drama. So if you want to see her reaction on Total Drama Island season 1 and Total Drama Action, they are both on YouTube. We are working on World Tour very soon. But I say we get into this ranking, Gia. So
I do have a question before. Obviously we're going to be talking about like their game, like their placements while we're doing this, but are we just calling this like full spoilers for this ranking list? Like we can talk about storylines outside of the placements and everything like that as well?
Absolutely. So
Okay,
we're
perfect.
talking everything Total Drama, even Redonkulous Race, even though we're not ranking them. So full spoiler warning for anyone listening to this. If you do not want to get spoiled, leave now. Okay. But also I love this background real quick. I'm going to take this on the screen so you can see. Well, I'll do it later. But we have our Total Drama AVIs on the after show stage. I think that's funny.
It's on our Twitters.
Yes, follow us on Twitter if you want to go check them Jones out. But okay, so we're gonna start ranking here. So obviously, I'm gonna close it up actually for audience. We have all of our Redonkulous Race players. We're not going to rank any of them. Sorry for any Redonkulous Race fans. We're going to be ranking classically with the classical Gia. Let me change our thing down here. Beautiful. We're going to be ranking S through F. Okay, so S means top tier. You're just that person. Okay, and then F tier. You ain't make the cut. Okay, anything in between, we'll adjust accordingly. Gia, I think we discussed this off stream a little bit about what our criteria is. But do you want to speak about it?
Yeah, so I think obviously one of the things we are going to talk about is strategy. We are both heavy on strategy when we're talking about our favorite players, but also, it makes sense for how we're ranking the cast that we talk about how they look at the game, as this is a reality TV spoof. However, I think we're also going to be putting our personal opinions into this, and unapologetically so. Like, there are some players that I love that maybe a lot of people are not as high on. There are some players that are very popular that I am not a fan of, and I'm sure I will be getting lots of hate mail for some of my opinions, but this is not your podcast. This is my podcast or our podcast. But so if people don't like it, I apologize, but I will not change my views on this. And I think that for a show like this that does not take itself too seriously at many points, that it makes sense for us to be putting personal and strategic into our rankings.
For sure. And I'm gonna just let you guys know I'm not apologizing. This is not my first rodeo. I've gotten I've had my fair shares of hate messages for my Big Brother ones, but it's okay. Look, I've gotten messages already in Discord chats about how they know how I'm gonna rank some of these people and they strongly disagree. Shout out to y'all. But I will be providing the link to this tier list in the description after. So if anyone doesn't like it, please, I love the interaction. Make a list, tag me and Gia on Twitter, and make sure you just let us know how you feel about it. Okay. But here we go. So we're gonna rank. So Gia, before we start, do we want to rank backwards? So you want to start with the newest characters to the OG, or do you want to do OG to newest?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I think it makes sense to start with Pakithew because they're the most isolated from the other two casts. Okay. And then Revenge of the Island interacts with the first generation cast more, but I think people are really going to be looking for how we rank the first gen players above all else.
Okay. All right. So we can start with the newest people. We're going to start with Pakithew then. I'm not going to lie, Gia. I've only watched Pakithew Island one time in my life. Mm-hmm. I actually started rewatching some of it last night in preparation for this, just to get a fresh reminder of how I feel about some of them. But it's been a while since I watched this season from A to B, from top to bottom. It's not one of my highest ranked, obviously. It's probably towards the bottom, but all right. So how do you feel about Beardo? We can start with Beardo here, the beatboxer. What do we feel about Beardo?
I actually like Beardo. He's fine. Like, I understand why he was the first boot. It makes sense. It's very clear they put him there to be a first boot. But other than not really talking much, I feel like he's one of the less annoying of this cast. So I I would put Beardo as like maybe one of our better first boots personally. Like,
Okay.
if I'm thinking about all of the first boots we have gotten on previous seasons, one notwithstanding, I think that Beardo is like, he's there. He didn't do anything particularly wrong. He just was not like that. That's what his character is made for. So I would put him in like low C, high D.
Beardo. So, as I said, Pocket Island, right? This season is just full of tropey characters, and this is my problem with this
Yes.
cast. Everyone is, you can tell, like, right off of episode 1, who's going to be here for a while and who's not going to be here for a while, right? I think Beardo, amongst many of this cast, is very one track, tropey. You could tell that they're not going to be here long. Beardo is one of those, obviously, where he's beatboxing. He doesn't talk until he gets shot out of the cannon, I believe. Oh no, that's B. He doesn't talk at all.
I think he does talk at the very end. He talks about how it was like really nice to meet everyone.
Oh yeah, he does do that.
So he's like, he's not a poor sport, and I feel like that goes into it. Like, he's fully aware of why he got eliminated. So I think higher of him than some of our other earlier boots.
And I just had to look at this real quick. He is, other than DJ, the only other person to have a full beard. Also, just to give him his credit.
We love a bearded king.
But so since he's the first one, I'm gonna settle with it. We can put him C. I'm not gonna lie, I won't be shocked if he drops a D. But
He probably will.
shout out to Beardo. Shout out to Beardo. Funny character. Okay. What's his name? The wizard guy. Leonard. Leonard. All right, I'll start with this one. So Leonard, another one of these tropey characters. Such a gag character. I think he got a lot more shine in a few episodes of Redonkulous Race that I did watch. But I mean, you're not supposed to take Leonard seriously. He's a guy who's like role playing in real life. Very funny though. I think he has some funny moments where he thinks he's doing magic and he just completely flops. I like Leonard. I don't dislike him. I think that he is one of the funnier characters. I did not expect for him to come back in Redonkulous Race. But him and his Viking friend, like, they made it work. So I'm gonna give him, I will also give him a low C. But how do you feel about Leonard?
Honestly, I feel like Leonard was wasted potential here. I think it was very clear that they put him in there to be a very early boot in Pakithew, but the interactions that he did have, I personally found very funny. I don't take this season particularly seriously, but like his interactions with Sugar and how Sugar was one of the only people to take him so seriously. I thought that was hilarious. And I just don't have I don't hate Leonard. I wish that they used him more than to just be like a punching bag for some of these other contestants. And I enjoy him. I think he would also be like a low C, high D for me, just solely on the entertainment factor, because I think he brings a lot more in the few episodes that he was in here than some of these other characters that we're going to talk about.
Agree. Listen, do you like him more than Beardo? Because we want to have an accurate order as well.
I think he makes me more annoyed than Beardo did, but that's not really fair because Leonard was in episodes. I think I would rank him lower than Beardo because I think Beardo is more self-aware. But if you want to rank him higher than Beardo, I feel very neutral about which one goes above the other.
I'm indifferent. I would put Leonard over him, but keyword indifferent.
Let's put him over Beardo.
I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like they're gonna drop to D. I'm gonna leave them here right
I
now,
think,
but
yeah. I
I can see
honestly
them
am fine
drop.
with putting them at like a high D.
High D, yeah.
There are some of these characters that I am personally going to be ranking very low because I just genuinely do not like them. And so I don't think that they are going to, Leonard and Beetle are not those characters to me.
Yeah.
But they definitely are not like, I think there's going to be a lot more characters that I'm neutral on for the C and B categories.
All right. So you could start off Amy, right? That's this one. The me one is
Yes.
Amy. So how you feel about Amy?
I fucking hate Amy. And it's just like, because she's like, here, follow me with this, right? We
Okay.
have had several villains on Total Drama that we love. Like, once we get into some of these earlier villains, I am going to have a field day with it.
Absolutely.
And but the villains that I like have a point to the game. Like, they want to win and they will do whatever it takes to win, or they have a personal vendetta or something like that. Amy's just mean for the sake of being mean, and there's no rhyme or reason to it for the game. Like, she has no strategic outlet here. She's just mean to her sister. That's like her one thing. And she doesn't, I was hoping at one point or another that they were going to have like a close to the storyline. And I'm kind of sad that they didn't really finish the storyline or like wrap it up in a way that I really enjoy. But Amy's villain for this like effective TV. She's just a villain because I don't want to care about the person that goes home this early. So it's like, not only is she a villain, she's just a bad player as well.
Very so. Listen, so first of all, out of the people we have on the list, I might put her higher. If you can't see the bottom of my name, bias for villains, right? I like villains. I don't know why, but I'm gonna agree with you here. I did not like Amy. She is, so it feels like following the story of the trope characters. She is a Regina George clone at that, right? She doesn't have any kind of gameplay. She is just here to be rude to her twin sister. And it's kind of fun to see Sammy kind of like develop into like this villain as well. I like Sammy a little bit more than Amy, and we'll get to her when we get to her. But yeah, Amy, I'm just not really rocking with. I don't know where I want to rank her because I have justification to put her C, but I also have justification to put her close to the bottom of D because I don't think she's a trash character. I do feel like there are trash characters on this list.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I think she's low D for me because there is still the potential there, but she's not the worst character that we are going to get to, but she's the worst type of villainous character to me because it has no point to the game. I think that the villains that I like have determination around the game, and that's just not what we get with her.
At all. And you know what?
Yeah.
I think I'm looking in the chat real quick. No, I agree with you. For our Big Brother fans, Amy's definitely a Paloma. Okay,
yes.
I agree.
Oh my god, absolutely. That's actually kind of perfect.
It's perfect, yeah. We also have Zuda. He says Amy was definitely a sour villain in a way, more being like you don't really enjoy seeing Amy kind of do like bad stuff,
Yeah, I think actually that like villain is a little too generous of a character, of a title for her. She is just a bully because she doesn't, I think with villains, they have a point, they have ambitions, they have like a lot of villains that we say on Survivor, shows like this are wins by any means necessary type, and she's just there to give her sister a hard time, and what does that have to do with the game?
I agree. All right. So how do we feel about his name is Rodney, right?
Rodney.
Okay.
This is a trash character to me because he has no point. He has like absolutely no point. He's supposed to be socially awkward. He's supposed to be his whole thing is that he has crushes on all of the women from like very basic interactions with them, and it makes absolutely no sense. It does not add to the plot. I'm sorry. I'm sure he would be nice. He's one of the nicer characters, but like he also adds nothing for me, even less than Amy does.
Yeah, I remember watching it. He gestually got on my nerves. He lasted a while, which kind of blew me.
Yeah.
Like just like no substance, no kind of personality. All he is just like, oh my god. I'm see it'd be different, right? If he was in love with one girl, right? I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, it's creepy, but I can see what the direction he could be a pawn, a fessy of some sort. But no, he just falls in love with Jasmine, falls in love with Amy, he falls in love with any girl he runs into.
I
And
yeah. And I also think like I thought this is another storyline I thought was going somewhere. Like maybe he realizes, "Oh, I need to like I need to not just crush on anybody that has a little like that talks to me. Like not everybody that is going to talk to me is the love of my life or something like that. That would give us a little bit of resolution with him. But no, he just doesn't learn anything. He leaves, and the show is better for it.
all right, so I guess we're both agree. Rodney F.
Yep. Sorry,
All
Rodney.
right, we have our first trash tier list player, Rodney. So we can move on to the other sister, twin sister, Sammy, but they call her Sammy. It's a mess, but Sammy. Can you brush me up on Sammy? Because so what I remember, she was at first, she was like the sister. She was really nice. She was trying to get in and fit in. She didn't know that her sister tried out for the show. I think she signed up for it just to kind of like upstage her, right?
Yeah, so Sammy was the one that auditioned for the show, and then Amy auditioned afterwards just
Yes,
so that she could
despite
continue
her.
torturing her. Really, the
Yeah,
only person that treats her with any bit of kindness is Jasmine, which makes no sense and makes kind of like that whole interactions even less enjoyable. I think it definitely speaks to like just how Jasmine is leagues above a lot of this cast, but
yes,
I I would put I love the part where Sammy switches places with Amy to get her eliminated. So for that reason, I would put her either high D or low C just so she can be ranked above Amy. But she has like some good parts. But again, there's no real satisfying ending for hers. And like
yeah.
she was fine. I feel like on a normal season where she was playing by herself, she would be like a mid tier player. Like I don't think she would bring anything terribly effective, but she also isn't one of these characters that's naturally bad at the game.
She would be a Bridget. Like I feel
Yes.
like she I think that when she got to be herself and she had the blueberry on her face, it was interesting. And I did like the moment where she voted her sister out. I just like it was just something like the rest of the cast hating on her kind of like really got on my nerves. And unfortunately, I don't know why it's almost like rubbing me to like not like her as well. I don't know why. Um, but, but I do agree. I think she is a low C. I don't see her dropping. I think that she is one of the few characters in this cast that actually did something for me. She had a moment.
Yeah.
So I'll give her that. This one is not Dawn. This isn't Dawn. This is
Ella.
Ella, the Snow
Yes.
White wannabe. Go ahead. How you feel
Ella's
about Ella?
fine. Ella is like I would put her around the same spot that I would put Leonard because like it's that same trope that they're obviously like a kitschy character. They have their thing going. She's pretty much in costume just like Leonard is. And she has some funny moments. I do enjoy that how much she just gets on Sugar's nerves. And I think she's fine. She doesn't do a ton in the game. I think she's like okay at a lot of the cat challenges. So she would be like around I think it makes sense to rank her around the same area as Leonard because they're kind of this one and the same to me.
I agree. I think that her little singing moments were funny. She was something, but I think Ella, man, we said right here. I agree.
Yeah.
I think Ella is the definition of what's wrong with Pakithew Island.
Yeah.
Blatant just copy and paste off of something else.
Mhm.
Now, granted, we've had success stories with this. Like Harold is a perfect example. He's literally Napoleon Dynamite. So like I get it, but she just does nothing in the game other than sing. And I'm just like, it's funny the first few times, but after a
Yeah.
while I started getting annoyed. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
I remember Chris hated her singing and Sugar just hated her. So more she was there to annoy people that we are supposed to get joy out of them being annoyed. So in
yeah.
that way, very effective.
What are y'all thoughts on Dave? Well, we're gonna get our Dave thoughts in two.
Oh, I
Just
got
stick with-
words for Dave.
just hold
Let's
on.
get through Topher first.
Topher. All right, listen. This is my full bias. I'm a Topher stan. I love Topher.
He's
Like
so annoying.
he's literally just wants to be a host. I love that he dresses like Chris. He acts like Chris. He tries to like hijack the hosting, and then like Chris basically sets him up because he thinks that he goes behind Chris's back to get like a hosting gig. I am a Topher stan. I love Topher, and he's probably one of my favorite like joke characters in like the whole entire series. Like I love Topher. He's one of the few characters I'm obsessed with in this cast. But that's just my bias take. How do you feel about Topher?
Topher is so annoying, but I do feel like he has a point. He is more effective than Ella in annoying Chris to the point of him just snapping. And I want to give him some points for that. I would put him around the same area as Sammy. And like they have their
I will
moments.
take that. I'll take that.
They have their moments. And I think Topher is a little more game oriented than Sammy. But in the grand scheme of things, when we're talking about the all-time total drama greats, he just kind of fades into the background with me.
I was rewatching the episode 2, man, when he got behind Chris and he's like doing like the art.
I will say that, but like also, this is one of the storylines that actually in this season, one of the very few that actually has a satisfying outcome to me. Like he has his point, he has his arc, it concludes in a way that we know that like that's the end of it, and I could be satisfied with that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm with it. Are we putting him behind Sammy? Oh my god, Sammy. I feel so bad.
I would put her, I think we should need to call her Sammy, because like that's
Sammy,
what they call her.
That's her name, Sammy. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sammy, but like that's a little toxic of us, but I'm sure that's not the last time I'm going to be toxic on this ranking. I would put him behind Sammy, but that's just me. Yeah.
Listen, as long as he makes it over D, I'm cool. I love him. He's great. And that's one of my toxic traits that takes that people are not going to like listening to this, but it's okay.
Oh wait, are we including? We're not ranking Chris and Chef in this, are we?
No, but Chef will be pretty high.
I was about to say we're agreeing that Chef is higher than Chris, right? Like
absolutely. Listen,
Chef
when me
is
and
the
Sabrina,
best adult. Yeah.
When we did our podcast, she was like, "Chef is always better than Chris. We love Chef."
Every episode that Chef hosts, like, is the host for that episode, infinitely better than Chris. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
Top tier of the adults here.
I am a Chris fan, though. I will say that. I do like Chris.
He has his purpose, but he is not Chef.
He's a daycare handler now. That's exactly what he is. But
but he's coming back for the new season, which I'm excited for.
Which is great. I think he's wearing his suit and everything too. He's not in the chef's suit anymore.
I heard that. So I think this was on like an interview when they were starting the season, but I guess the rumor is that he's going to have a much bigger role than what he had in past seasons, which I'm hopeful for, because one of the things I really didn't like about these later seasons is kind of how Chef became less and less relevant.
When he started rigging for DJ,
I loved that. Listen. I wish we got more of the Chef DJ storyline. Like those two, they're so opposite. And he just wanted to see a brother make it far in the game. And DJ was not built. Like that's pretty much why he did it. And like, but DJ is not built for that type of cutthroat gameplay. And I love DJ, but
yeah.
Oh, it was so good. So good.
I do hope they make him like an official co-host instead of just a chef this time,
Did Chef not want to make the first cookout before the cookout was a thing? He was trying it. He was trying it. We love an ally.
All right, let's go. Dave. I don't even need to give him instructions. Go ahead, Gia. How do you feel about Dave?
I fucking hate Dave. Like, of everybody in this cast, everyone. Yes, even that character. Dave is like the worst of men in general. He is entitled, right? He only cares about the game in reference to Sky. He does not give her opportunities to actually explain herself in any way. He doesn't want to hear it. And then he quits the game for Sky, but then is mad when he finds out all the stuff later. First of all, Team Sky. I'm sorry. If you guys are not Team Sky, I don't care. You're wrong. Dave is awful. This like the ultimate like incel nice guy prototype, and I can't stand him. He's an ineffective game player and an even worse like character overall. This is not a person that you should be feeling sympathy for. He sucks. F tier for me. Pits of hell, because at least Rodney is like nice. Like he's not going to make any of these women feel terrible for not actually liking him. Dave is just awful. Like waste of a character downfall.
So someone Jameson saying he's like Zach and Tymee. I disagree actually. I would compare him to Beast Mode Cowboy, but like without the beast mode, you know?
Yes.
Like I don't like him because first of all, the problem with Dave and Sky, they're just a carbon copy of Mike and Zoey if they went bad. You know what I'm saying? Like if it went negative. And Mike obviously has a crush on Sky. You know, she gives him a little kiss or whatever. You know, like he's obsessed with her. And it gets very creepy. This is like if Mike like went crazy. And I would leave him alone if he left and he still has feelings or whatever. It's the fact that he comes back. And basically he's trying to kill Sky for money, essentially, and that bothered me. Basically you're trying to kill Sky and Sean, right? That's the name. Sean. You're trying to kill them for money. That that's when Total Drama started getting a little dark, and I just really hated Dave for that. So I'm definitely putting him at the bottom of F tier personally. I don't know about you, but I just did not like him.
Like of all the characters I don't like on this show, there are going to be very few that I dislike more than Dave. He is like all of the traits that I hate in not just animated characters, in like actual Survivor and Big Brother players as well. As like the lack of accountability, complete unawareness, misogynistic behavior. It's just like a recipe for all of the things I hate to see in like a character, and he never learns his lesson. There's no growth in there. If anything, he just gets worse. And even when like in the finale, Jasmine is mad, but then for good reason with Sean, but then like comes around and like obviously does not try to kill him at any point. And we don't get any of that with Dave. And Dave had even less reason to be mad at Sky than Jasmine had to be at Sean. And I just can't with that. But before we go on to the next person, I was wondering, can we switch Max and Jasmine around? Because I feel like we need to talk about Scarlett and Max.
I'm down.
And
I'm
down.
Down.
It's going to bother me.
So we could talk about them. So Scarlett and Max. So first of all, fun fact, they are both having inspiration off of Dexter from Dexter's Lab. Scarlett and Max are both scientists. You got Scarlett with the Dexter hair kind of thing, and then obviously Max is more of like a Dr. Evil spoof from Austin Powers with the clothes and evil and all that. But fun theory out there, obviously this ain't gonna work out. It's you can cancel this. People are like, these are Dexter's real parents. Obviously not. But Scarlett is inspired off of Dexter, and obviously, Max has some Dexter tendencies, but it's mainly Dr. Evil. With that being said, Max is a joke. Scarlett, I'm like, I really liked Scarlett, first of all. She reminded me of like Velma a little bit. I feel like she was like the Cameron archetype that was going in there, like a nerd, kind of crawling your way to the end. And then she kind of like went off the deep side, and it kind of threw off her trajectory for me. When we get to Mike, we'll talk about this with him and Mal as well. But I just didn't like the sudden flip, and you basically changed the game from like a reality game to like this, like, I mean, it's a cartoon, but like this super ridiculous format of like a robot island and all this stuff. I just like, I didn't care for it too much. So it does hurt Scarlett's ranking for me personally. But I would put Scarlett in C, maybe B, depending on how I feel. I want to hear what you feel. I don't, Max, I'm indifferent about though.
Max is a joke. I think we can both agree on that. So like, F or D tier.
I'm down for D. I don't think he's trash, but like
Yeah, I'll put him in
annoying.
D. Yeah, like
Where do we want to put him
I think
specifically?
he's behind Amy, honestly.
Okay,
Like
I'm with it.
he lasts way too long for my liking, and I can't think of any like. Feel free to correct me on this, anybody that's listening, if they can think of something specific that Max did. But I think pretty much all of his moves were related to like were Scarlett's doing. Like anything that could be seen as brilliant in his game are really the result of Scarlett. But that's a different conversation. Now, when I'm talking about Scarlett, this might be my worst opinion possible, but I stand by it. I love Scarlett. I love her. I don't like the last episode where she's eliminated is not great. And it feels like a very like I felt like I knew where it was going. Eventually she was going to turn on Max and he was going to get kicked out or something was going to happen that they were eliminated together, but like eventually we could tell that she was going to snap on Max. But what I did not foresee when I was first watching is that her snapping to the point of like turning on just everybody for no reason.
Yeah.
To the point where she's just trying to like destroy the entire island.
Yeah, that kind of confused me.
But like that's also like a writer issue. I feel like there was a way to do this that didn't put everyone's lives at risk. But I would say Scarlett is a C tier, like a high C for me, because everything up until that episode was great from her. And I saw the vision for where she was going. And if the writers just listened to me, then this would have been much better.
If she did not have her supervillain or like moment,
yes,
Scarlett is way higher. I'm just being honest with you. As they said in the chat, very shady in the DR. Like I love that. I thought that she was very strategic, and I thought that she was just a fun character overall. It just like you just had to just throw in this whole I'm gonna destroy the world and the island.
Yeah,
come on now, like we didn't need that. But you know.
If that episode didn't happen and she was eliminated in any other way, she would be A or B, because that's how much I liked her in this season. In terms of Pakithew, she's like top 3 or 4 characters for me.
100%. I agree with that. I'm glad we're on the same page with that. Next is Jasmine. How do you feel about Jasmine?
Jasmine is the best character in this generation. Like that, it's not, she's got the strategic part down. She is obviously a physical threat. Honestly, of all of the showmances that we have gotten in Total Drama as a whole, Jasmine and Sean are probably my favorite. Like the most healthy of the ones that we have, and the one that I actually just really enjoy the most. Like they have realistic problems throughout, but it's not anything that really turns me off to them as a couple, and they're able to make up at the end. And I think that that's like a good couple for me to root for, that they're able to understand each other. Sean knows he messed up. Jasmine is able to kind of see things from his perspective. She should have been in the final 2 over some of the people that were actually there, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the fact that we had her for so long. I would have liked to see her go farther, but I think the way that she was eliminated was really dumb, but we usually have those like once a season. So I'm going to give I would argue for Jasmine to be an A, or honestly, even, I don't know how exclusive we're going to be with the S tier, but she's definitely my favorite of this generation of characters.
So I'm going to meet you. I feel like she is either a high B or a low A. So we can do A for now. I liked the direction. I think she was, first of all, I liked that she was super tall. I felt like they fed into her being Australian to the point where, like I said, this cast is very tropey. Like they could have made her Australian without giving her like the Crocodile Dundee type vibe in the clothes, and like, you know, they could have just made her like a regular girl. She's from Australia. She's athletic. Boom. You know. But with that being said, yeah, I really liked her. I was rooting for her, obviously. I like her and Sean a lot. I felt like if Sean didn't win, I definitely needed a Jasmine win. I like that they got back together by the end of the season. But I really like Jasmine. I think that she was fun, nice. This is like I'm not, they're obviously polar different players, but her and Lashana were like the same player. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's
Yeah.
like just like the common sense, the person that is most realistic, and I really vibe with
I
that.
I really I they feel very similar, but I wonder why of the two that they picked Sean to be in the final two over Jasmine, because I personally think that like a Jasmine Sky final two would be a lot more compelling
Hmm.
than Sean and Sky. Not anything against Sean, but I think he's a little more tropey with his zombie
Zombie
paranoia that
paranoia. Yeah,
yeah, over Jasmine. And I just think that like we had a two guy final too, so like why would we not get two women at some point? But
yeah,
I think that Sky and Jasmine are two players that could definitely do that, but I still really enjoyed her the time that we had her.
agreed.
Yeah.
All right, next we have Sugar. So this is our Honey Boo Boo clone, and this like the deeper we get with this cast, I'm like, what were they thinking?
This
Sugar,
final three is wild.
it's just like it's wild. But Sugar was the season's villain, right? And
Yes.
she was the pageant girl. She was mean. I didn't mind Sugar, first of all. Like I said, bias for villains. So I'm going to give her a little credit. We needed a villain this season, and she definitely fed into that villainous side. I think her and Scott are the most villain there could be because, I mean, obviously outside of Scarlet and Max for obvious reasons, but they came in here and they're like, I'm going to be the bad guy, and
Yeah.
Sugar is literally just Honey Boo Boo with a different name. Like they made her just a pageant girl. She fights, plays dirty, she's nasty. But I think she was fine. I think that it would have been interesting to put her in the end as well. I didn't need Sky in the end. We'll get to her when we get there. But I didn't mind Sugar, but I don't love Sugar because like I said, with this cast, outside of like Jasmine, like this is just a very tropey cast.
Yeah.
And it's just like the writing is a little weak with this cast. It just kind of makes it hard for me to really get addicted or love anybody in this cast. So I'm gonna put Sugar. I can either put her low B or high C. I really do
Yeah.
like Scarlet, so I have a hard time putting her over Scarlet. But how do you feel?
So here's the thing. Sugar, when I watched back this season, Sugar made me laugh actually a lot just for like how, like a combination of just like her humor and yeah.
Sorry, I messed your thing up. Go ahead.
No, but like it's very fun. I feel like she, oddly enough, made a lot of very underhanded moves that worked through the season. So, like, in terms of like who was effective strategists in the season, like, unfortunately for the Sugar haters out there, like, Sugar is actually one of the most effective
Yeah,
game players in this cast, and
yeah.
she made me laugh. Is she the most enjoyable to watch all the time? No, but I kind of don't mind that. Like, I enjoy her. I enjoy her. I would put her in B because I think she is actually an effective game player and
I'm
she
with
made it
that.
far. I think if they brought her on for another season, she would be an early boot. But like just because I think they've done pretty much all they could or want to do with her as a character. But I think she did what she needed to do and like she actually was responsible for a lot of the eliminations in the game. So there's really nothing else I can say about that. Like, I think I'm kind of like blown away that she made it this high, but like,
Yeah,
it makes
yeah.
sense with the storyline that we get from this season.
She made trailer trash work. Like that was the point of her.
I know, but
Um,
Sue Hawk walked so Sugar could fly.
I'll say this comment is very funny. Just hopped in. Dave and F tier is too high.
If there was a Pits of Hell tier, then 100%.
Agreed. And then we got our final two. Technically our two winners, but in my mind, Sean is the official winner of this season.
Okay, I'm glad you also do that because yeah, there's like I know that there are two winners, but in my mind there is someone that just
There's
feels
one.
more of a winner, and for
Yeah.
me, it is Sean.
Yeah, Sean's the winner here. I'm gonna be honest with you, because before this, I did my own personal ranking of the winners, and I never really thought about it. Sean's actually one of the best winners that we have on the board. I think he's one of the better winners in my book. Sean is an interesting character because this is the first, obviously tropey, but obvious this is the first kind of character that like they wrote that it's a survivalist. So he's more so, instead of playing Big Brother or Survivor, he's playing Outlast. He's playing Alone, like naked and afraid. He's trying to survive, And it's weird, but when a character is staying out of the mix and just surviving, especially on a season like this where someone goes batshit crazy and starts having robots and all that, Sean does a pretty good job. And I really liked Sean this season. And I think that he's actually, like, on paper, one of the best total drama winners, which is crazy. Is he entertaining? No. Like, I think he's kind of boring. And I think that his relationship with Jasmine really like bumps him up for me because you get to see more of his personality. But I enjoyed him. Oddly enough, I didn't think I was going to come in here caring too much about him, but I liked him. And if it were me, I would put him in B. But how do you feel?
I do actually really like Sean. I feel like he is a bit overshadowed by Jasmine, but Jasmine also brings the best out in him. Like, I don't feel like he would feel as complete of a character or as a winner without that relationship with Jasmine. And I think that once he's by himself, he does hold his own in a lot of the episodes, but that's only like 2 episodes that Jasmine
Yeah.
isn't like a contestant in the game. So I would put him in B over Sugar because
I'm
I
with
think
that.
he does feel like a very effective character, and I think he is actually a really good winner, but I don't see him like in terms of like the cast. He's definitely one of my favorite characters, and he's in one of my favorite total drama relationships, and if not my absolute favorite total drama relationship. But in the grand scheme of things, when we're thinking about that, I could see a world where Sean moves to low A, but I think there are going to be other characters that I really want to be in the
I
A
fully
tier.
agree. I
Yeah.
don't know if he's gonna get an A. Like, I want to try to justify it, but I don't see it. I think that this is
I
a
want to,
perfect spot for him.
yeah, this feels right.
But I mean, look, the more people we put up, he easily can move up. So, we gotta see. And lastly, we got Sky. I have feelings about Sky, but I want you to start this off, Gia. How do you feel about him?
So the first time I watched Sky, I felt like I was very much on her side over Dave, but I didn't really think too much about her in terms of like the contestants on the show. But honestly, like rewatching it and being in a position like Sky in some personal situations and things, I actually really like Sky. She's not my favorite. I think that if she were to return, they could definitely have more potential with her than what they did. But I think they could have gone a little harder with some of the points about her, like her competitive side. She's an athlete. She really wants to win, but she has some moral struggles with it. But honestly, I like her better than some of the other characters that fit that trope. Like, spoiler alert, I like her far more than Zoey. And I relate to Sky not in being athletic, but in some of like her personal struggles with it. But I enjoyed her. The one thing that I don't like about her that would make me put her a little lower, maybe like I would say B or C tier for me, was Sky. And the only thing I'm saying about that is because she didn't want to do alliances while she was in the game. And that's the thing that confuses me, because like this whole game is about alliances. Like, it's less important in total drama because it's a cartoon, but it just that feels very Survivor Borneo to me, and we know what happened to the people that didn't want to form alliances on Survivor Borneo. So like that doesn't feel the same to me. I don't know. That's the one thing that I don't really like about her.
Yeah, so I like Sky on paper, right? Like, I think that it makes sense she's a winner. Obviously in our canon she's not, but she's a good finalist, right? But see, I have an opposite feel. I like Zoey more than Sky. Because, and maybe that's because I was introduced to Zoey first,
Yeah.
and we got shoved, like Zoe shoved in our face for 2 seasons in a row. So it's like, okay. I like Sky, but Sky, in my opinion, also doesn't have many memorable moments. And now that I'm talking and I'm thinking about it, Zoe on paper is actually a very boring character as well. I think the only difference with Zoe and Sky is that Zoe has a better supporting cast. So she has that
Yeah.
Cameron and Mike to make her niceness pop out more. Sky is very fine. Like, I think Sky is a fine character. She's also very milk toast. That's the word I'm looking for.
Well,
Very milk toast.
so here's the thing. I think there are a handful of characters that are made for us to just like. And I
Yeah.
think Zoe is one of those people, but they don't actually do anything in the game for me to actually root for them in any way. Like, okay, Zoe's nice and she has a relationship, but I find that
Mhm.
relationship very annoying. And
Yes.
the homeschool like trope gets very old very quickly. And I think Sky doesn't have those problems. I think Sky has a lot more depth and a lot more flaws to her, which is what I
Mhm.
like about her. I think there are a couple characters in this cast that are like, we want you to like them. We want you to like Zoe. She is nice and she has a flower in her hair, and that's all you need to know about her. And she has a boyfriend now. Like, that is, it's just not a character that appeals to me. And like Sky, with all of her imperfections in the game and things that she probably could learn from moving forward if they decided to bring her back for another season, I like that a lot more than I like a character like Zoe.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Um you so I was gonna put her C, but you've convinced me to put her in B. So I'm gonna put her in B.
Yes. I
I
do think
agree.
that Sugar and Sean were more effective players than her, though.
Yeah,
So
I
I think,
agree.
yeah.
I feel like Samey to Jasmine, these six all
Yeah.
deserve to be on like a better season with like a more like a cast with more personality.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
I feel like everyone else, like, I can do without. I mean, Dave is actually a pretty good character in a writer's room, but like, I hate Dave, so like, who
I
cares?
hate Dave. Dave, yeah.
But these six plus Dave, I feel like they should be on a different season.
I also
Um,
think that like these are the characters that could come back and have a continuing storyline. I don't see a reason for me to bring anybody else in this cast back
okay,
that like I would personally want, other than to be an early boot so my faves can stay.
got it. All right, so that's our Pakithew Island cast. So we're going to move on to our Revenge of the Island group before we get to the OGs. Um, what's her name? Cortez? What was her name?
Stacy,
Stacy. Oh my god! Like,
that wasn't even close.
listen, Stacy is so irrelevant, bro. So
I
she
know
just like
this is a trash character.
such a trash character. Like, she just lies about everything that her family invented, and I'm just like, I don't give a damn. Like, oh, my family invented the spoon. My family invented the dock. My family,
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, you're such a Ezekiel. Like, you're gonna get out of here so quickly. So, and I'm glad that she lost her hair at the end too. Like, I was done. I
Yeah.
was done with Stacy. Trash, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you
No,
go. But she's trash.
no, she's trash. There's no point for her other than to be the first person that's booted. And I would say like she's in between Rodney and Dave because she's not Dave, but Rodney at least had a little more personality to it. Like, I feel like he was slightly more useful than Stacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not there's like literally no substance. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put her right here. Like, because what the hell? She is funny though. She has her moments where I'm just like
There
that
were
one episode.
she got a chuckle out of me once or twice, but
Actually, can we please put her over Rodney? Like, I think
all
she's
right, fine. We can put her over Rod. I don't feel too different between the two.
like,
Maybe
what is
that's
your
the
voice
girl that
actor?
Rodney needs to fall in love with, and then they'll have some relevancy to them.
Like, I wish I was in the rooms where like coming up with these characters. Like, what were you thinking? Like, what drug were you on when you created this character? Okay, so this is B, right?
What? B.
Is
I
B? How
yes,
you feel about B?
I love B. This is the one elimination in this season that I truly hate Scott for. I feel like everything else he was doing us a favor at some point or another, but this one I hate it. I hated losing B so early. I feel like he does have a lot of potential. I do hate that he doesn't talk at all.
Yeah.
But like he is so useful in the time that he is there. Like he is actually a really great team member, and it baffles me as to like why they would eliminate him. Like why as a team what logic exists for you to take out B? I like B. I'm a B believer. I'm a
You're a
B
B believer.
Yes.
Now, shout out to B. I didn't expect him to be in the game as long as he was. And I also didn't expect him to have such an important role. I liked how smart he was,
Yeah.
inventing things. I think he really shined. The snowball challenge where he had to like make some kind of like sled or whatever. Shout out to B. I like B. I wish he talked. That would have like popped his character. I also could be wrong about this. I remember seeing the original designs for Total Drama characters, and I think B's character design was one of them.
Yes.
But I like B. I think he's a fun character.
I
Yeah.
think they should. I feel like, and honestly, I don't think him not talking is a deal breaker. They could have had the writers been a little more creative. They could have had him be nonverbal. They could have had him
Sign language.
do sign language. They could have had him be some type of like deaf or hard of hearing or something like that. Like they could have done something with this to give his character a little more depth than him just being like he can't talk. But or he doesn't talk. He chooses not to talk.
Yeah.
And I just think that, you know, maybe it's just the time that this was written in and that like they didn't think about this moving forward. But I think they could have done a lot more with B than they did. Yeah.
So I feel like we could put B on top of D or maybe a bottom of C. How do you feel about B? Where do you want to put him?
Bottom of C.
I'm with that. Because he actually had some kind of like substance to him, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like this D and lower. So D, well, F is just like we don't mess with them, but D is starting to feel like these are the characters with not a lot of substance, you know, like you're just here for filler. And I'm okay with that. Yeah. This is Dawn, right?
Yeah.
I like Dawn. I think Dawn definitely gave off like a hippie vibe. When I first saw Izzy, I thought this is what Izzy would have been like, but obviously, you know, we got a different trajectory. Nah, Dawn is definitely like the stoner chick that's like into not really stoner, at least what they showed us.
In my mind, she was smoking a ton of weed. That's what I thought this season.
She was
with Anna Maria.
Into plants and all that and animals. I really liked Dawn. I thought she was fun. I'm glad that she stuck around longer than she did. I liked the small moments where she actually like had like correct reads and it bothered people like Scott. I like Dawn. I think she was just a fun little character. I didn't expect her to win or anything.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed her character. I think that she had some good character moments for sure. I would put her around probably over B or under B as well. But how do you feel?
I do like Dawn. I feel like she suffers the same fate as B, where they could have done a lot more with her and they just didn't. And I know people that just really like her character design, and then they're like, this has so much, but I don't think she's like the most robbed goddess we have ever seen in this show. So exactly. But like I feel very indifferent about whether Dawn does or does not come back in a future season. Part of it is like, do I want to see this player come back again in my ranking? I feel indifferent about it. I would put her in between Sammy and Topher. I think she's a little more effective than Topher and B, but she's not touching Sammy or Scarlet.
This is the type of character they should have put in Redonkulous Race if they were looking for like let's fix someone's character arc.
Because Dawn and B do have a friendship during their time in the show. I feel like that's a team you put on the Redonkulous Race.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like if they're going to have these returning characters come back, like Dawn and B are characters that I would actually like to see come back as a team, because I feel like there are a lot of things they could have done with those two.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I have some opinions on this one. I want to hear yours first. Sam, let's go to Sam. This is going to be a conversation.
I'm sorry. Seth Rogen should sue for have this likeness because, like,
he
I
is a
do.
Seth Rogen clone. It's
He
crazy.
really is. Like, he sounds like
Wow.
Seth Rogen. He looks like Seth Rogen in like
Wow.
his early days of stardom. I like he is supposed to be this very nerdy type, but my favorite thing about him is his relationship with Dakota. And I
Okay.
feel like Dakota is really the star of these two because she's just like so much more bold than
Bougie.
Sam.
Yeah.
And I don't hate Sam, but I also can't for the life of me think of something that Sam does he's in 2 seasons. And if you had told me like last week that Sam was in All Stars, I would not have believed you. I literally had to look this up when we were doing this. Like, I completely forget about this man half the time. And the only thing I really know about him is that he and Dakota are dating and he loves video games. And his storyline in All Stars is that he is going through video game withdrawal. Like, that is it. That is all I remember about this man.
Hey Dakota. like that's how he like listen. Sam is cool in his first season, right? I think that he had major upside. Like he was like losing his mind because he didn't have any video games. But then like he had like the whole Donkey Kong session where he completely killed that one challenge. He had a Herald upside,
Yes.
right? Like, but like I liked Sam in his first season. I really did. In the fact that he finally got the girl, the hot blondie that he was chasing the entire time. He got Dakota, and Dakota messed with him. I thought that she was like not, but I like their relationship. I like Sam gets his monster chick that he's been looking for,
Yeah.
And here's my gripe with Sam, and it's not really Sam's fault. He definitely did not deserve a spot in All Stars. And I
No,
feel
he
like
did not. Absolutely not.
there's Owen was there. Lindsay could have been there longer. I mean, I have to go
I'm
down.
sorry.
Abby
Like,
Maria, like there's
no,
so
I'm
many
sorry. Like,
people.
let's run through the list of people we have not discussed yet. Like,
Cody,
Brick could have
Harold,
come back. Literally, the next
Brick.
Brick was interesting.
Come on,
I would
man.
have honestly preferred they just demutinized Dakota and brought her
I
back.
would have took Izzy.
Lightning could have stayed longer. DJ could have come back.
Yeah.
We do see Jeff later, but I do think Jeff has more relevancy to warrant a total drama return. Trent, I think, is long overdue for a return.
Okay.
Like some of these players that we missed out on definitely deserved a spot in All Stars over Sam. And if they're looking for like another guy and it had to be in Revenge of the Island, I feel like Brick is right there.
Brick is perfect.
Like that would have been a player that I would have loved to see return over Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a missed opportunity, and he didn't do much in All Stars either, and it's like
I can't think of one thing that happened with him in All Stars.
That if this was just his first season, he would do pretty well for me. But
yeah,
since his All-Star return, it reminded me of how newcomers came back in All Stars and did nothing. Like that's how I feel about Sam.
Yes.
So Sam, I'm not going to trash Sam. He is about to get flooded. I might put him over Topher or maybe over Dawn. How do you feel? Maybe over Samey, to be honest with you. I don't know. How do you feel?
I would say that he is more effective than Samey, but that's where it stops. Like,
yeah.
He did pretty well, and
so like right here
on both of his seasons, like he's a pretty mid-tier player. But then what did he do?
Exactly. It's really just how much do you enjoy his personality in his first season? Like that's what you're really basing it off of, because he didn't do anything in All Stars. Like it is what it is. Yeah, I would have loved to see if they, fantasy pairing, but if they put Harold and Sam on a Redonkulous race team, you have Napoleon Dynamite with Seth Rogen.
Oh my
God.
Tell
me you can't write some good moments with that.
It feels like a super bad sequel waiting to happen, honestly.
Okay.
Like it's got that level. McLovin and Seth Rogen. Like
Oh my god.
that's where I feel this is going. I would not be mad at it.
Okay. All right. Next is Brick. We were just talking about Brick. I actually like Brick. I think it's first of all completely robbed of being on All Stars. I think he did pretty good in challenge. Well, he didn't, but he tried to do good in challenges.
He did his
Um,
best.
he did his best. I like his relationship with is it Joe or Joan? It's
Joe.
Joe.
J-O.
Joe. I really like his relationship with Joe. I like he's trying to be this tough guy, but he's such a spaz and like hurts himself every 5 seconds. He has so many memorable, funny moments, and I enjoyed it. And I also like how he was trying to be like the hero. Like how do you not put Brick on the heroes tribe for a heroes
I
versus villain season? Crazy.
I'm
Like
sorry,
I
but
don't
like
get it.
Brick versus Joe and or Lightning on a return would have been so much better than what we got in All Stars. Like so much
Yeah.
better. But okay, was I the only one that thought they were trying to put Brick and Joe together as like a couple going into
I thought
this?
they
Because
would.
I
Yeah.
really thought that was the direction they were going with
Me
this. And
too.
I'm not like disappointed that that's not where they went, but that's where I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, I
And
did too.
I will say this is how you do a tropey character, because Brick is like, he's obviously coming on to be the military brat, and we think we know what to expect from him, and some of this stuff does hold up. Like, he does live up to some of the expectations, but if we're talking about the character as a whole, he has layers, he stands up for himself, he has growth during his time in the season. His exit was a little meh for me, but it's kind of what I expect from someone like him. I honestly think we could have gotten rid of like Anne Maria. I know Dakota is like in and out of the game as well, and then Mike. Like, I think we could have gotten rid of those three and earlier and had Brick longer in the game. I think he is
Agreed.
imminently more interesting of a character than some of the other people that were there. I think like him instead of Mike would have been a perfect final 6 for me personally.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think he's a B tier.
Was that?
I will put Brick in a B tier.
I think he's B tier. I think he's in between Sean and Sugar.
I co-sign. I co-sign that. Yeah, I really do like Brick. He's a good character.
Yeah.
Anna Marie. I think there's an argument for her to also be an All Stars. I think this is coming from a Jersey Shore stan right here. Okay, I love
Yes.
Jersey Shore, and she is such a good villain. Okay, like she's very
Yes.
nasty to people. I like that she's trying to steal Mike from Zoey because of veto sometimes. And even her gameplay was kind of wild. I like the spray can.
Yes.
I like the way they made her like built like body structure wise. We haven't had that either. Like she's just like,
Yeah.
like where the hell did you guys go? Like she's definitely supposed to be like a Snooki because she got the poof
Yeah.
and all that. Like you could tell to what Total Drama was doing. They've been doing this for season 1, but they definitely were like inspiring people off of like celebrities with this season, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But I liked Anna Marie. I thought she was great. I was shocked that she didn't get invited back for All Stars, but I thought she was an excellent villain personally. How do you feel about her?
I like her infinitely more than Zoey. I'm sorry, not for Mike,
100%.
just in general. I think she is
100%.
leagues more interesting than Zoey, and not to compare like apples to oranges, but if you're talking about the women in the cast that I wanted to see go far in the game, or the characters that I found interesting, like Anne Maria is just so much more fun of a character for me. And sometimes she is right. Like, she is not just like the mean girl all the time. Sometimes she has valid points to make about the game. And I hate that they kept her in the box. Like, I feel like they could have done a similar thing that with her that they did with Brick, where they like, we come in assuming certain things about her and then we get more layers added. I think the downside of her character being on this season is that this is a very heavy villain cast, and her brand of villainy is very much overshadowed by the likes of Joe, Scott, and Lightning. Like, I think that they're like, they were only going to have her to a certain point, and it's unfortunate because I do like the other villains that we get in this season a
Yeah.
lot. Like I really like the Revenge of the Island villains like
Yeah.
so much, but I think that Anne Maria is her standing is detrimented by the fact that of all of the villains in the cast, she is like one of four, and she's kind of a lesser of these other evils here.
Yeah, I think she's also not too focused on winning the game.
Yeah.
Especially when the diamond gets involved and Zeke and all that, obviously, the mole people. But to a degree, she's a trophy character as well.
Yeah.
We see characters like this in real TV shows. The recruits who are like IG influencers, or they're there for love or money, or like that's exactly what she is. She's not here for the win. She's here to make some cash and or get a boyfriend. So I liked her a lot. Is it too crazy to put her at a B tier? That's my question.
If Anne Maria is in the B tier, we have to move Scarlet to B tier because, like, I think she is better than
Let's
everyone
put her
else.
in B then. Let's put her in. Let's put her in
Yeah,
C though.
I
Let's put her
need
in C then.
I need Scarlet to be higher than Anne Maria, but everyone else in B tier or in C tier, she's definitely above.
No, I agree because you know what? I feel like putting people higher, right? I
Yeah,
feel like these gotta be major player. I don't feel like these two, Scarlet and Anna Maria, they would have been major players if they were focused. Anna
yeah,
Maria was not focused. She quit for a diamond. Scarlet was
yeah.
not focused. She quit for world domination. So,
Is that not like okay? But like the money. Think about this though. The money that she would have won, she would have gotten from the diamond, in hindsight, feels much less so than like what she would have gotten if she had won the money in the game. So world domination is a much bigger prize than $1 million. So like, is it fair to compare the two in terms of their goals?
well, I feel like B tier, all of our B tier E and A,
Yeah,
if they didn't win, they were definitely in the contention of winning.
yeah, this is
I
fair.
don't feel like that with anyone in C tier and below. I would have that for Scarlet if
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
yeah.
Everyone else,
Actually,
like, I don't know.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think Brick needs to move over one more because he quit, so he got moved. I like him better as a character, but like he is
So right
definitely
here,
not as effective of a player as Sean
Sugar.
or Sugar. And
Okay.
I feel like, honestly, I don't feel like Sky made it further than Brick, so I do want to give her that. But she also wasn't particularly focused on the game going towards
No.
the end. So
No.
I will keep it like this because I know
Okay.
I think we're both on the same page regarding Brick, but I think we have some differences with Sky, so I think this is good for now.
All right. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm with that. I like the listen. We got to balance each other out. So I feel that. I
Yeah.
feel that. So next is Dakota. We got she is basically Paris Hilton, to a T. Like, that's what we're going for. So we got. Or you feel something else?
Oh, I love Dakota. I
Oh,
love
okay.
her. I thought her relationship with Sam was super cute. She actually has some growth throughout the season. I think a lot of the characters in Revenge of the Island do have more growth than some of the other characters, like what we see in Pakithew.
Yeah.
And I think that Dakota should go below Anne Maria, but then or Anna Marie and
Okay.
above Sam because I think she's a better character than Sam.
Better character than Sam. So I feel like she's in this area. I'm trying to decide if I feel like she's better than Sam. Because she definitely had like her redemption. She got eliminated. She kept bringing the phones or whatever. And then she's Chris's intern. That was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
Um, the monster, she's not cliche.
Yeah.
Out of all like the chicks that's like this in this series, she's not cliche. I'm gonna meet you there. Let's do that. We could put her
Yeah.
above Sam because, like I said, I feel like I should put Sam higher, but like I don't really know, like other than like the video game jokes, like what to give Sam, other than like his
Yeah.
love for Dakota. So yeah, I did think that the whole intern era of Dakota was hilarious though.
Yes, definitely.
Um, all right, so this is an interesting one. So we got Mike. You want to start off, or you want me to start off?
I can't stand Mike. I'm sorry. Like both of he made it so far on both of his seasons, and him and his girlfriend managed to annoy the crap out of me in both of them. So I just can't. I know I should put them in B tier, but
Listen, this is
I
our
do
list.
not
This is
care.
our
I
list.
know. I do not care for either of them. And I think that they did a very poor job in how they wrote Mike's character. As
Yeah.
like with I don't think they did I think they did a very terrible job in how they wrote his mental illness.
Yeah.
And the ending of with the Mal and like the reset button is atrocious. And like
Corny.
I know it was very corny. It was very atrocious in like how in like mental health representation. And I know that's probably not the level of depth that they are thinking with a character like this, but as someone that like I have OCD, so for someone like that has like that type of anxiety in their life a lot, I just like it rubs me the wrong way. It's not what I want to see. I think that that was just like a very like bad final two if we're talking about the final twos overall. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Mike. I don't think his paths to the end were like particularly well earned. Like what did he do to get as far as he did in either like the power of friendship and then like a psychotic break in between? It's boring. It's been done. I don't like it. Like I don't really care for Mike.
So my feelings on Mike are drastically different between the first two seasons because his first time, he's the nice guy. I really like Mike. I like Mike. His
Yeah.
personalities, I feel a certain type of way about. Obviously, it's been Lana, Vito. I forget what the older Chester. There were like cringe at times, but like it didn't turn me off. I think I enjoyed Mike and Zoey. Well, we'll get to Zoey, but I enjoyed Mike in his first season, because he didn't win, and I think that his main goal was to get the girl, and he got the girl, and you know. In a season full of villains, and I love villains, you have to have some heroes, and I think the little friendship between him and Cam and Zoey were fun to watch. Right, my problem with Mike comes from All Stars. And I was having a conversation with a friend about this before I came on stream, but I don't like the whole Mal story. I think if they handled it for like a small amount of time, if they did it for like an episode or two, that would have been fine. They could have did this on any returning season whatsoever. All Stars, heroes versus villains. They made the entire season about Mike. We have all these OGs
Yes.
and these new people. First time the cast are combining. First time you're seeing Gwen and Courtney and all these other people, and we're just focusing on Mal. And then we have Duncan knows Mal from Juvie, and it's just like Mal is the main character, and it's not even Mike. And the final two being Mike and Zoey in an all-star season kind of rubs me the wrong way. I thought it was funny the moment where Izzy sees Mal and all the personalities locked up, but it's just like I just didn't my gripe isn't with Mike, it's with Mal, but it's technically Mike, so I have to put that on him. And I agree with you with the whole going inside the mine and the kingdom and pressing the escape button. Like this was our finale, like
Yeah.
like the episode to the finale. This is horrible, and it ruined All Stars for me. I was dreaming of an All Star season for Total Drama, and when we
Mhm.
finally got it, I was so excited. And anytime I go back to watch the season, I watch the first two episodes and then I just dip. I
Yeah.
like that's just how I feel. I just can't. Mal hijacking this entire show, this is the wrong season to do it. And I think that I'll always have gripes with Mike as a character just because of that. And then the fact that he magically has this personality disorder healed because of a
Yeah.
button and he can do all the abilities of it. I'm just like, this sucks, bro. So
Yeah.
I like Mike. I don't like the personality portion. They should have just made Mike the nice guy, and I would have loved him. But I'm just
Yeah.
All Stars killed him for me.
the more that we talk about some of our more memorable players, the more atrocious it is that Zoey and Mike were the final two of All Stars. Like, two
Horrible.
characters that we have very little interest in.
Horrible.
And
I would
yeah,
have took one of them. I would have took one of them, but not both
I
of
would have
them.
taken one of them. I thought it would make sense in a way to have like one player from the first generation cast and then a player from the second generation cast be the final two. But
Right.
like I dare anyone to look me in the eye and tell me Courtney and Scott would not have been a more compelling final two than
Man.
either of those two. Like, I'm sorry. That's the truth. That's the truth. You can be mad all you want, but it is the truth. I can't with Mike. I can't with him. He was not interesting enough for me in the first season he was in. I do like his friendship with Cameron and Zoey and like their little trio, but like they should have left that in season 4. Like that was it. They all lasted far too long for my liking.
Now, here's my thing. Because we talked about this with the last season. So how do you feel? Who's a de facto winner for our headcanon? Is it Mike or is it Zoey? Because for me, it's Zoey.
Really, for me, it's Mike, but I hate that season so much that like I honestly don't particularly care. Like, it's not. I don't know why. I think it was when I first watched it because on Netflix they only had one ending. You could not watch both.
Oh wow.
So there were a couple that I only saw one ending, and that was the one that I kind of defaulted to. And there were some endings that I liked better the other way when I rewatched it, but I believe Mike's win was the one that I watched originally on Netflix.
See, I watched this live, and I think Mike won. It's been so long, but
yeah,
my only issue with Mike winning, and this is really going to hurt him. Mike didn't do anything.
He did
himself.
not. He did not. Yo,
like his personality, and
yeah.
you know, my friend that I was talking to was like, "Look, that's a part of Mike, though, isn't it? Like, I get it, but it's technically not him because." If you could press a button to make this guy go away, then like, what is it at this point? It's like he's being possessed. So, it's like Mike actively didn't do anything.
No,
right?
he's just
Until
not.
like the end.
Yeah, and also, what did he do in Revenge of the Island that was memorable outside
He was a
of
fun
this
character in Revenge of the Island. I'll give him that.
outside of the very offensive mental illness representation we got from him?
I think his relationship with Zoey was fun because,
Yes.
granted, to this point, the only relationships that I saw on the show, Owen and Izzy flopped, Courtney and Duncan toxic but funny, and then you got Gwen and Duncan / Trent. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that we're going to get into later. And then
I love how toxic all of the season of the
That's
first
what I'm
generation
saying.
relationships.
They're toxic, right?
They're so bad, but like, oh,
like,
we'll
they're
get
toxic.
into it with them, but like, I love
this is the
so
first
much.
relationship that's like not bad, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, like, it's a breath of fresh air at least. So like, that's why I was like, all right, you know, I don't mind Mike and Zoey. I didn't. For me, Zoe's
like,
more so the winner because I didn't feel like Mike deserved it, but I can see why Mike is the winner. But you know, we're going on for Mike for a while too. But go ahead.
I think that it's hard because I think part of it was like that was the ending that I first watched, but then also the fact that like so much of the season was around Mike or his alternate personalities that it's like it's hard to imagine him not being the winner, but they're pretty much attached at the hip, so it doesn't really matter. I did not enjoy Mike, so for me, he's like automatic C tier, but I know he was an effective player.
I'm with it.
I say put him.
I'm with it.
I guess we should put him top of C. I don't know. I hate him. What do you want to do with him?
I don't like him.
I don't like him either. He's like,
I can't justify putting him any lower. I can't put him under Dakota. So if the lowest I will put him is under Abby Maria, the highest I will put him is over Scarlett. It's one of the
I
other.
would put him after
Scarlett,
Anna Marie, whatever her name is. We've been calling her many different things, but like
Anna Marie, I don't know.
I like her more than Mike, and I feel like she can actually stand on her own 2 feet and be her own person. Like, she is not defined by her relationship the way that Mike is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick in the chat, Heather and Alejandro having the most healthy first gen. I don't know
They are
because
not a healthy relationship.
in
I'm
that
sorry.
finale for All Stars when they basically break up immediately for money is crazy. So,
But like fair. Like I understand, but I would not call them the healthiest. I would not call them
no,
a healthy relationship or the healthiest
no,
relationship.
no.
Also, didn't Alejandro vote Heather out in All Stars?
In a, if there is a healthy relationship, it's sad because this relationship is still very toxic. But I guess I'll say Jeff and Bridget, like if anything,
I
because they're
don't
still
like them,
together.
but yeah, they are the healthiest relationship
Yeah,
I would. Honestly, I feel like
the show is so toxic, bro.
no, I feel like Owen and Izzy are even less like Jeff
I
and
mean, they're
Bridget are
not
just
even
not
in a
great.
relationship though.
Yeah, I guess so. It's what's her face? Beth and her boyfriend that we don't hear from until the finale. That's the healthiest relationship on Total Drama in
Oh
the
my
first
god.
gen cast.
Still no S tiers. Still no S tiers. This is a
It's a
fun time though.
S tier. It's coming. I can feel S tier is coming.
It's coming soon. All
It
right,
is coming.
Joe. So this is another spoof of a character in my head canon. This is a spoof of what's the coach in Glee? What's her name?
Oh, Sue Sylvester.
She's literally Sue Sylvester.
Yes, she really is though,
She's
because like the
literally Sue.
zingers,
Yeah.
like the outfits,
Her
absolutely.
mannerisms too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
I
definitely
love Joe.
breath of fresh air. Like so for the longest time, our only real villains was like Heather and Alejandra, right?
Yeah,
And I felt like we were unfortunately going into this path where Total John was like, we need more villains because like they started turning heroes into villains. Like they turned Gwen into a villain, Courtney got turned to a villain, mad characters got turned into villains, right? And I think that I love this cast. In 3 of the next 5 characters we're going to talk about are amazing villains from this season. But Joe is great. She is game based only. She wants to win challenges. She's all about strength. Her rivalry with Brick is great, and she is a pain in the ass. She's very rude and cocky, and I love it. I think that she's such a breath of fresh air in terms of villains that like last time we got this was Heather season 1 where it was all about game, right?
yeah,
And I felt like Joe gave me that vibe but in her own different way, just like the Sue Sylvester way. Comps, leadership, comps, the way she was trying to like push Brick to be stronger and stuff, like it was just dope. And I liked her in All Stars too. She wasn't like the center of attention, but she had some good moments as well. And I really like Joe. Like I'm gonna be honest, Joe might be an A-lister for me. But how do you feel about Joe?
Joe is definitely an A-lister. Like
Yeah.
this is such a great character. She's one of a kind. Honestly, I would even say Brick is not her best interactions in the show. I think her and Lightning are hilarious when they are
Yes.
forced to work together.
Yeah.
Like that combination is quite I don't think I've ever laughed so hard from this show than with Joe and Lightning interacting with one another. Like they are that funny. And I think Joe is a really great character. Sometimes she gets on my nerves a little bit, but I
Yeah.
do think she is A tier. I think she's definitely an A tier character. She is a character that they should definitely bring back if they were to do another returning season. I think that she was unfinished in her arc in All Stars, and I think they could have done way more with her than what they did.
Yeah.
I do think that Jasmine is above Joe, but I would still put Joe in A tier.
I will put Joe above Jasmine, but listen, I'm okay with it. I don't feel strongly.
I think there is more self-awareness with Jasmine and ability to grow from what we have seen so far than what we have seen with Joe. If Joe were to return to another season and Jasmine didn't, I think there is a bigger conversation to be had. But I think from what we have seen, Jasmine is the more well-rounded player. I don't know if there really is a world where like Joe in season 4 iteration would have won that season.
At all. And
Yeah.
this is funny. And I've never kissed a guy. Oh.
That was literally one of my favorite. The lightning don't judge aspect. Like one of the funniest moments of the show. Like I love those two so much. So funny.
Great times. All right. Next is Scott. How do you feel about Scott?
Scott is S tier to me. I'm gonna be
Thank you.
straight
Thank you.
straight
Thank you.
out.
Thank
Like this is
you.
I think he is by far the most impactful player in season 4.
Yes.
He has a good run in both seasons. He has a little more like he takes a dumber turn in All Stars, but it's still very good. I think that he's
Yeah.
still like a very strong character, and I like Scott. I think that he's one of the few characters that I enjoyed in both seasons that he was in. And I can't say that for a lot of the characters that have had multiple returns. And I feel like he had like a good growth through both of his seasons. And honestly, I liked his relationship with Courtney. I think they could have done way more with that than what they did. But
Yeah.
I won't go too much into that yet. But I do like Scott. And I think that he's like very, in terms of effective gameplay, likability, like the types of characters that I want to watch in the show, yeah, Scott makes sense as our first S tier.
Yeah, Scott and Courtney's relationship, I'm out of nowhere in my opinion. But listen, I don't hate it. It's not cringe. Um, I never thought I would like a country bumpkin character, but like they did a great job with this one.
Yeah.
They brought a real TV strategy aspect into this,
Yes.
which is the player that likes to sabotage and throw challenges, right?
Yeah.
This guy is actively doing it, and to be fair, it's a really dumb strategy, uh, but
But it
it's
works.
entertaining. It works, right? Like like his little feud with Fang the shark is hilarious to me. And like how he has like a fear of like sharks. He uses Fang's tooth as like a knife for like the rest of the season, and that actually carries on into All Stars, which I thought was great.
Mhm.
He's just a fantastic villain. I like the moment he got B out, I was just like, oh, this is going to be a great character for me. Like
Yeah.
I really liked him a lot. All Stars he was fine, but I really loved him in Revenge of the Island. He was an
Yeah.
absolute star for me. And damn, I might say it, he's one, if not number one, number two in this cast. He might be number two for me because we got someone on the board that I'm obsessed with. But
He's not my favorite character
yeah,
in this cast. I'm very excited to talk about the player that is my favorite character,
yeah,
but I think Scott, Joe, and a person that we're going to talk about in a little bit are my favorites from this cast. So I'm very
yeah.
excited. We only
This
have
is a
3
great
left.
season in general. This is
Really,
a great season.
I do actually really like this season.
Yeah.
And one of the, I can't remember when I said this, but it was a while ago, but I said if we got the women from Pakithew Island and the
Yeah.
men from Total Drama or from Revenge of the Island in the same
Mhm.
cast, like that is the well-rounded cast we should have gotten. And
It is.
throw Joe in there and take out like Ella or something. Like that is what we should have gotten.
All right. So next is Zoey. So Zoey. I think Zoe's fun. Obviously she's not based off of anyone, but she feels she's giving like Emma Stone in a movie. She's giving Pam from The Office. Like she's just a nice girl that a goody two shoes. That's what she is.
Ugh, I
In the
can't with
aspect,
Zoe.
she's a very trophy. I like Zoe personally. I think she reminds me of like I don't know what to say. Like she's just like she has a good vibe. I think her friendship with Cam is, I think that's really his number one alliance personally. Like I really like Cameron and Zoe. Her relationship with Mike, it's on the Mike side annoying, but I don't mind Zoe. She's a little bubbly and kind of dumb at times. So but that's just like I don't know, that's just her personality. I personally don't hate Zoe. I didn't like Zoe in All Stars where she does not understand that Mal is there for like the longest time. That did kind
Yeah.
of blow me. She's kind of dumb to a fault at times, but I mean, I thought she was going to win this season. I'm glad she didn't. I'm not shocked that she won All Stars. Like she would have been one of those players. Like she would, in my opinion, I thought she was going to be in the pool of like Courtney, LaShawn, like some of the better players never to win. But did I want her to win All Stars? No, but like
Yeah.
I didn't mind her, but I know that's an acquired taste, not for everyone like yourself.
So my problem with Zoe is that I feel like this is the character that they want us to like, but she has not actually done anything for me to actually like her in terms of the game. Like, she is fine, and she has made it very far in both of her seasons. She's probably one of the highest ranking in terms of like placement wise, if we're doing a ranking of all of the characters based on just like how far they made it in the game. But I just don't have anything that I particularly like look for in a character. I look for in her. She's nice, but we have had other nice characters that I like more. I feel like Bridget is like the nice, chill girl that still has a little bit of edge to her. And I like that from her. And she's not always perfect. She makes her mistakes throughout the seasons as well. But like, Zoe is just the person that they like want us to root for. So they make her as like quote unquote perfect as possible. And I just think we owe it to ourselves to have women characters that are have a little more depth to them than that. And not with her like finally standing up to Mal in the final episode that she's in. So it's one of those characters that they really force her down our throats in All Stars when there are so many more interesting characters that I want to see. So I would put Zoe personally, because of her placement and like the fact that she is a capable player, I would put her in B tier, but I would still place Sean ahead of her.
I that's exactly what I would have done. All right, we're on
Yeah.
the same page there. Good.
Perfect.
I was like, she's B. I feel like they want us to put her at A, but I just don't feel that attachment.
I will
to her.
never. Not on my tier list. I will not be. Zoe will not be anywhere. She is as close to A tier as she will ever get with me.
Right. And now we got our final two. First of all, first black final two. You know, let's see it. I mean, I think we're both on the same page. Lightning's the winner this season, right?
I love Lightning. He deserves a far better ending than what he got.
Yeah.
I love him. For me, this is my favorite character in this cast. He is so funny. He is oddly enough very adaptable. And while he is definitely like the dumb guy of the cast, he is super effective in his game. He made what I think was a good choice in getting rid of Zoe in the final 3. He's very competitive. His rivalry with Joe is so funny. I would put him listen, I think in terms of like All Stars and like in terms of effectiveness in the game, he's just kind of a comedic character for a lot of this season. So I would put him in A tier above Joe. Actually, maybe above Jasmine. Do I like him more than Jasmine? I don't know. Isaiah, where would you put him?
Do you want me to be biased or you want me to be honest?
No, please be biased because I need. Well, like
this is an S tier player. This is an S tier for me.
I think that both of us don't care enough.
I don't care.
We could put him in S tier because this will be the only ranking where I think Lightning is in S tier. But I love him, so I am fine with putting him in S tier.
I'm putting him at the top of S tier right now. Like, okay, I'm gonna be honest.
I don't. I love Lightning. I will hear you out on this. I do not think he is
Scott. Okay,
I think he is not as effective as Scott in terms of like an actual player. In terms of who is my favorite, it is Lightning.
Listen, Lightning. Like, this guy is so silly. Like, where the hell? Like, I've met a lot of Lightnings in my lifetime. Okay, like, great guys, but so cocky. Yes. I love cocky. If you don't know me, I'm a very cocky person, depending on the circumstances, right? So I connect to that. You know, like, I'm very competitive. I see aspects of myself in this character because it's like, is he dumb? Yes. And I'm not dumb, okay? Like, I'm not gonna call myself dumb, but like, he's so hilarious. Like, the fact that he can't solve any problems with mental problems. This is the first character we've seen that is just brute strength and comp. Like he does not care. He's this athletic guy. He only cares about himself. Very selfish. I feel like he's Ty off of Big Brother Canada right now. Like, he just does what he wants for himself. And his one-liners, the fact that he talks about himself in third person is hilarious to me. The ending when the final 2, Lightning versus Cameron. This guy is in this like barbaric suit. and Cameron's in a robotic suit. Amazing. And the fact that nobody is rooting for Lightning at all defeats all the odds. He gets struck by lightning himself. His hair is white. The guy still wins the game by default. Amazing ending for me. I love villains. This guy is a classic villain without being mean and nasty. Like, we all love Heather, right? But like,
Yes.
this is he's not a villain because the way he plays. He's a villain just because the way he is. He's just selfish. He's not mean to people. Lightning is just a selfish person. He has moments
Yeah.
where he's trying to be nice to people, but he calls you like skinny and weak and like it's freaking hilarious.
Mistakes you for a
Yeah.
guy instead of a girl. But like, I do think, and I think when the times that Lightning is mean is they have a reason behind them. They're not like he's nasty to just make people feel bad about himself. In his head, Cameron took his immunity away from him, and for that he must die. And who am I to tell him that he is wrong for that? He is a competitive person, and I am kind of hopeful because I don't know if you caught up with anything about the spinoff with Total Drama Rama, the little kid version of it, but they brought Lightning back in kid form for the later season, him and Sugar. So it's literally just like part of the first generation cast, Lightning and Sugar
And Jude.
and Jude, yes. And so I think that I think they see that there is potential there for a character like Lightning if they gave him more storyline. And I honestly, like, hearing you talk about it and like remembering just how much I loved Lightning in the season, I could go either way with putting Lightning S tier above or below Scott. So if you want to put him above Scott,
I'm gonna leave it the way it is right now. Not me convincing you, you convincing me. We're gonna leave it.
Listen, I will be mad either way. I think of the characters that we have seen so far, these two are definitely the S tier of the group.
Yeah, I won't be shocked if he's like bottom S tier, but I think he deserves S tier. Like,
100%.
And the amount of one-liners is hilarious.
I think we are the only. We may be some of the only people that will rank him this high, but it is for good reason. It's not just because we like him. I think he has a lot of reasons to be this high.
She said, "Girl, what girl?" I was just like, "What the hell?" This guy's so dumb. It's so funny. And we could talk about Cameron. I mean, look, I think Cameron is also, for most people, Cameron is the winner of the season, and that's completely fine. I actually like Cameron a lot. I think he's a little bit tropey, but like this is one of the characters where you're kind of like seeing the evolution of like the nerdy guy. Like, this is Black Ian Terry if I've ever seen him. Okay, like this is the nerdy guy who kind of like, defeats all odds as an underdog and gets to the end. I like how he is actively pushing strategy in the season, making alliances with Mike and Zoey. The first alliance in a very long time, because last time I remember seeing alliances really being implemented is usually by Heather or Duncan. So that was great. Cameron's a nice guy. I at the beginning, he kind of annoyed me with him being a bubble boy and a mama's boy. But like when he, turns it to his own and sticks up to Lightning and all this stuff, like I was like, he's great. Like I personally, I like Cameron. And he might be an A or B lister for me, possibly A. But I don't know if I'm on an island here, Gia.
No, I do really like Cameron. He's definitely not the star of the season for me. He's much calmer than a lot of the bigger standouts. Like, it's so hard because I think the types of characters that I was rooting for this season are the likes of Scott, Joe, and Lightning, and Cameron just does not fit that mold. But I really like him, and I think he's like low A for me because I think he is dragged down by his little friendship, but I do think he is the most effective player of the three.
You do not like Mike.
Listen, I get why they are friends, but do I need to like all of my friends?
Yeah,
no. And I just don't. And yes, Mike is very nice individual, but like him as a character, I never need to see this man again. Or Zoey, for that
I will
matter.
say Cam is one of the brighter spots in All Stars. I will say that. I still don't like the season. But he is one of the few bright spots. I'll give him that.
he's one of the few characters that doesn't get completely derailed, and
Yeah.
he's only taken out because of a medical evac, which I think is to his benefit here because
Yeah.
he doesn't have the same fall from grace that a lot of these players have.
They're not going to let a winner win 2 times. Let's
No,
keep it real.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that like him and Scott are really two of the only ones that in my opinion, don't suffer from like just complete character derailment here, and I'm fine with it. But like I think that those are two very solid characters.
All right. So we have finished with the second generation of
Yes,
Survivor. Gia, we've been sitting here for an hour, 44 minutes. You still good?
I'm good.
All right, cool. I see a lot of people in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Let's keep it moving. So the next we have our only 3 newbies of Revenge of the Island. Of World Tour, and then we will be going into the OG generation. But Blainey, Blainerific is my name. I like that song. Listen,
the song was very catchy, but what purpose did she serve to be actually in the game?
Did it. Like when I first watched this season, I was a Blainey stan because like I said with Lightning, I like cocky characters, and Blainey was just like such a jerk. But like, what the hell are you here for? Like I don't. It was not.
It was so weird because she's so much older than the rest of the cast. Like everyone else in World Tour, they couldn't have been older than like 18. I think like around there. So it's like they're not. It's just weird. It was a weird choice on their end. She is cocky, but like not actually effectively cocky in a way that we'll talk about the other returner from this or the new player from World Tour. But it made no sense for her to be there. I think it would have been better for them to just keep her as the host that is just stirring up the drama for this episode, for like this
Celebrity
season.
Manhunt.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I felt like she should have hosted, a sideshow, but Don was fine. So she should have been the host of the after show, not Jeff and Bridget. But
I think they should have. What I think they should have done is not do the Jeff and Bridget on the as the talk show host, and have Blainey be like the villain in how she stirs up drama. I don't think they needed to make her a contestant for this season.
But they gave us a great song, and they gave us a great song.
Her name is Blainey. Is that like the name? I don't know what the actual name of the song is,
but Blainerific.
Yes, that's it. Okay. I would put her honestly, like in terms of a player, I would say top of D tier. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going.
My bias is not going to let her go to F, but she's 100% not a high character. She's only on for like a couple episodes,
Yeah.
But I like her. She's fun. Sierra. How you feel about Sierra?
Why do
you don't like Sierra?
No. So here's my thing. She gets better.
There's no wrong opinions here. Go ahead.
No. Here's the thing. I warm up to Sierra by the end of World Tour. But they did the Cody obsession thing for far too long. I think they could have definitely done a better job of like the total drama fangirl playing the game. But because they had her obsessed with Cody for so long, it was just very annoying. And it went on for far too long. And I think that at some point, sooner than she did, they should have had her just be focused on winning the game. Like at some point, she has to have a come to Jesus moment where she says, oh my God, I could win this game. Who the hell is Cody? Like, let me play it. And then all of the work that she does in World Tour is just completely ruined in all for me. And I don't like... I do like her, but I cannot in good conscience put Sierra any higher than like the very end of B. I just don't think she's that great.
Okay. It's not too bad. I love Sierra. Right? And the Cody thing, I didn't think about that. So I'm gonna give you that. But I love Sierra. I don't know why. It's just like she's just a breath of fresh air as well. Like this is our maybe it's because 4 seasons, no, 3 seasons in, and we just seen the same cast over and over and over again. Sierra and Alejandro were just such breaths of fresh air for me,
Yes, I agree.
and she was a fun, compelling hero. Like I feel like the outside of the Cody thing, those comedic aspects, but it's like just watching her be like a total drama fan, like her actively getting on Chris's nerves about seeing him like on like a skating show or like
Yes.
she is hilarious. The blog is hilarious. Like
Oh, I forgot about I do like the blog, honestly.
the blog, and then
That's
she
fair.
doesn't have a phone, so she's like typing on like a pizza box or something. Like she loses her mind, but it's so funny to me.
Yes.
And unfortunately, she only loses because she destroys the plane. But
they should have had Cody go over Sierra for that,
yeah,
right? Like, I think it should have been the final 3 should have been Sierra, Alejandro, and Heather.
Now, due to eventual the winner, like Heather and Alejandro, I'm not going to fight that. That was a beautiful final 2.
Yes.
So I'm happy with that. But if they were not going that direction, I think Alejandro versus Sierra also would have been a good ending.
Yeah.
Predictable, I guess, because they're the new characters, but I liked Sierra. Like I think she was a breath of fresh air. It's not A tier or anything.
No.
But she's fun.
Yeah.
You really love Sky. I don't like Sky. That's our thing, but I can put her.
So how about because I do think she's more effective than Brick too. So what if we split the difference and put her between Sugar and
I think that's
Sugar
perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Yeah, I like that. Great. Not stalkerlicious. My friends, like.
You're bringing up, honestly, I do think once we start getting to the when the team Amazon is just Courtney, Heather, Sierra, that's when she really starts that's when I'm like, all right, this is like I can get with this.
Or her beefing with Gwen because of the Cody's head, because Cody's you want to talk about obsessions. Cody, that's another guy right there. He's a stalker as well.
I'm excited to talk about Cody.
Yeah. And lastly, we have Alejandro.
Yeah,
Alejandro.
I feel like we have to put him S tier, right?
He's an S tier, 100%.
Like I don't know what else to do with it. I don't like him as much as I like Scott and Lightning, which I feel like a lot of people will disagree with me on that. But I
agree with you.
I feel like there's really no argument for me to put him anywhere else than S tier.
No, the complete and utter domination.
Yes.
Strategy wise is insane. Like this, he's probably one of the best players. I don't blame anyone for giving Alejandro the win over Heather, but obviously the ending, it's up to your choice. He's always going to be second place to me. But
absolutely, there is no way in hell that he beats Heather in my mind.
Yeah, but I just love Alejandro. He's Allison from Big Brother, but a guy.
Yes. He really,
that's really
it really does in like a non-romantic sense, because obviously Heather and Alejandro are a couple, but I feel like this is like the Big Brother 4 final 2. Like Heather is June and Alejandro is Allison.
Yes.
And I love that about them.
Even the ending where he loses all his hair and he's in a robotic suit all this time, and then you just keep seeing a robot, and also it's like, when are we going to see Alejandro? We know Alejandro's in there.
Yes.
The reveal, and I love his connection with Heather. They're so toxic but perfect for each other. This guy literally left Bridget stuck to a pole, robbed Lashana of her fabulous soul, and even made Courtney lose control. I mean, I just gotta be honest. That song is amazing, by the way. This is how we will end it. Is a great song.
It is. Do you have a favorite Total Drama song?
I do. It's a T song, like Memenchi. I'm trying to think. A little Chinese lesson for you.
That one? That's your favorite?
Because it was funny. Yeah, it was funny for me. I don't know why. It's run free in my mind for some reason. Oh my god.
Okay. I won't comment on that because
It's not a good song, but it's a
It's
fun
not,
song.
but it's
I
funny.
also like the very first song, Come Fly With Us.
I do like Come Fly With Us a lot.
Yes, great song. I gotta put Katie and say it again. There's no reason to.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
All right, and now lastly, see, look, I'm not alone. We got they were in China.
Oh, I do like the London one too.
Yes, that was another good
London,
one.
this is how we will end it. Yeah.
Gwen's face is great. We build Gwen's face.
That was another good one. I feel like I'm missing a big one that I really like, but I can't remember. I think Boyfriend Kisser was very
Boyfriend
catchy.
Kisser. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some good ones in that one. I like Ooey, my friends.
Yes. I will say that like World Tour was the perfect season for Sierra to make her debut because of how
Just
like
goofy, man.
Yeah, just how goofy it is. I feel like this was the perfect one. It doesn't feel the same as she was like the new character in action.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to think. In the Blainerific, it's such a catchy song.
It is. We're gonna have to do a set. Have you done a tier yet for the songs?
This is our first tier list for Total Drama.
All right,
so
we'll have to do one for the song.
More.
Yes, maybe when after you and Sierra do the like the rewatch of it.
Listen, Gia. So Lavina is my Big Brother ranking buddy. You're about to be my Total Drama one.
Yes,
this is
I
great.
love it.
This is great. All right, so now I'm sure any people who are doing the rewatch crew who have not watched the newer seasons are skipping to this point right now to see us rank the OG characters. Well, here it is. You're finally getting what you're looking for. So
2 hours in.
2 hours in. All right, so we can start with Noah. We're bringing Redonkulous Race in this too, right? I guess like I'm not going to put too much stock in it, but I'm just making sure.
I feel like it's fair game to talk about it, but it's not really gonna.
Me neither. It's not going to affect me.
It's really not going to change anything about how I feel about this ranking. I think I'm pretty set in how I want to rank Owen and Noah, but I think that we can definitely talk about it.
I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on Noah. I feel like Noah, he had his best season isn't even a main season because Redonkulous Race hands down is Noah's best season. Gets a girlfriend, with more social, more screen time, doesn't go in like 5 seconds. Noah in Island, he's just like the passive aggressive guy. He's not going to win, but you could tell he's a smart character.
Yeah,
I don't think Noah in any of the regular seasons gets any kind of justice gameplay wise to how smart he really is. We just kind of know him as the passive aggressive guy that reads. And it's he has some funny moments, but I don't care too much for Noah. I know there's like a fan base of people who like are obsessed with Noah. I'm just not a part of that one. But how do you feel? Well, I'm putting my phone on the charger.
I think Noah is overhyped personally. Yeah. I just don't like. I can't think of anything too prevalent that he does that makes me personally think I need to see this character again. I agree his best season is Redonkulous Race, but I think it's helped by his relationship with Emma and his friendship with Owen, who is essentially the exact opposite of him and pretty much forces Noah to socialize. And I do like that pair as a friendship. Noah's fine. I like him best in World Tour. Okay. So I think that he does a fine showing there, but for me personally, he's just a very meh character.
That's his personality, meh.
Yeah.
Up until Redonkulous Race, he has no personality, man. And it's like, I think it hurts. And, I personally always saw the potential in the Noah character. I was like, why are we not getting Noah back yet? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, there's a lot of characters who have mad potential, but like, they're just kind of there, Yeah. But yeah, in terms of ranking him, though, I can't put him in C, and I feel like that's going to piss people off. But he feels like a D. But am I tripping? Where are you putting him at?
I feel like, I don't know, because he has some of the same issues that I'm looking at. Like, does he have, I think he is more impactful than like Amy that's Amy. No, Samey. He's more
Samey.
impactful than Samey onwards in the C tier.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, but I almost wonder if this means we need to start splitting up this C tier because like I think Scarlet needs to move up one, and
So
yeah,
how
I
about
think
this? We can move Scarlet up one. How about we move Topher and B can move down to D?
I don't really
You want to leave them there? You want to leave them?
I think Scarlet in B is where I'm
Okay.
struggling with it. Or like I think
I
Scarlet
don't
and C
feel
just
like
didn't.
it's tough, man.
Yeah, I think Noah is like the middle of C right now.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
Yeah.
So like right here.
Yeah, because he
Okay.
has his second showing. He definitely has a better placement than everybody else
That's
in
not too high. I'm fine with
this.
that.
But then, like, yeah, he's fine to me. I don't get the hype. I understand why there is appeal with him, but I do not personally feel that hype.
I mean, the hype around Noah is like the hype around Xander, right? It's just like
Yes,
we like milk
exact.
toast.
It is exactly like that.
Yeah. Ezekiel. Ho ho homies, get
F
in
tier,
focus
F tier.
and take
Put it
notice.
F
You think
tier.
Zeke is F?
What purpose does he serve in any of these seasons? He is just gets worse and worse. It's just like there is no point to him, and I don't know why people want him to keep returning. It's just like a slow, sad
He's a
death.
guy character now. He's not like all right, Island, he's horrible. Like I co-sign Total Drama Island Zeke F. No
Yes.
doubt. When he comes back in World Tour, Chris promised him that he's on the cast and then he throws him off the plane. I remember watching Total Drama World Tour for the first time ever. He's a stowaway on the plane, and you're just like looking in the background for Zeke, and like you see an ear chomped off, you see his skin's getting green, and then we finally go to Africa, and then he's like this like mole kind of character now, and ever since then, like what he stole the money in World Tour, and now he fell in a volcano, and then he had an Abby Maria moment. Like he's a staple in the series now, but he isn't important. So listen, how about this? He is trash. Can we make him bottom of D?
Yes.
Well, can we put him over
Absolutely.
Max and Amy at least?
Yes, we can.
I bet. I will fight for Zeke. For wild Zeke. I don't like regular Zeke. He's trash. But but animalistic Zeke is kind of funny. And you can't, you know, his impact is hilarious. I mean, all right. I don't like Justin, Gia.
So I feel like there is slight appeal to him once we get to action, but then when we're thinking, and we both love the villains on Total Drama, right?
Yeah.
When we're talking about all of the villains in all of the seasons, he is the least effective to me. Like
I hate him.
I just don't. There in terms of like his arc in there, it's like they gave him some potential and then it just kind of fizzled out, and I don't miss him for it. Like Courtney was a much better villain in that season than he was. And so I just think he was very bland and there's no depth to him. And when they had the chance to give him more depth, it was just not great. Like it's just he's not a villain that I am particularly like excited to see.
I think they created Justin with like this, you know, amazing villainous, like flirtatious thing, and it didn't appeal to people. And then they made Alejandro, and then it worked. So it's like, why Justin when Alejandro exists?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, every time I hear his voice, you know, the guy who voice acts Justin also voice acts Wade in 16. Like he just likes playing annoying characters.
So much,
yes. So I'm Justin. I mean, where are we gonna rank him?
I feel like top of D because he did something, but like, was it anything I care about? No.
Nothing important. You know, he's there. And I love villains, but like I don't like him. Like I don't know why.
It's not the type. It's the same problem with Amy. Like this is not the villain that I am rooting for in any way
at all.
Yeah.
So we could do Katie and Sadie together because they don't really have any kind of distinct differences. I would love to see a season with just one of them, but that's never gonna happen. Uh, they're just, I don't know, they're tropey. They're there just to be the same girl, and that's it. I thought
Yeah.
we were in for something in Island when you lose Katie and Sadie's there by herself and she just
Yeah.
does nothing but cry. I'm just like, why are you here, bro? So I've never been a Katie Sadie fan. I'm gonna be real with you. And they're D tier for me as well. But
They
how do you?
are. No, they really are, because it's exactly what you said. I was kind of hopeful we would get more from them at some point, and we didn't. It was just kind of why did we go through this? You could have just eliminated them at the same time or saved other characters for later. Yeah.
Where we want to put her?
I
We'll
think
put her.
can we put both of them in the same, like, just
Oh
rank them
yeah,
both together?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where
Um,
specifically? I can put them under Zeke if you want, or
I like them more than Z. I would say
yeah,
honestly, like, they can go.
over under Leonard.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
let's do that. Under Leonard. Um see, look, Zuda, same idea right there. All right, we're almost there. We're making our way there, Gia. We're almost there.
Woo! I'm so excited.
So we got Tyler next. Tyler played 2 seasons, I think. I feel like my brain's getting fried. We're over 2 hours in.
No, I
But
think
Tyler,
it was 2 seasons, because
okay.
he was the one that caught Duncan and Gwen kissing.
You know what? This is actually, we've been talking about this all the time. Is this the healthiest relationship in total drama?
She
Him and
cannot
Lindsay?
remember this man's name, and it's the most simple name of all.
Like,
They
Tyler's
are
actually not a bad guy. Like, I feel bad
No,
for
he was
him.
not. I think Lindsay and Tyler are both very nice people, so by default they are the healthiest relationship of this cast. However, I forget they're in a relationship half the time, because Lindsay is just, like, so much
Tyler?
better of a character than Tyler. Like, it's just like, it's not even an even bet. Like, some of these characters we have very equal levels of screen time. Like, I would say between Jeff and Bridget, not counting Redonkulous Rach, like, we see about the same amount as them.
Yes.
And
I would
we
say
see
Tyler,
Lindsay infinitely more.
but Tyler does last a little bit more in World Tour.
Yes.
And he does he's apparently, unfortunately, the one to go out and tell everybody and snitch about Duncan and Gwen kissing. That was also a thing there, and Duncan was
Yes.
threatening him. Tyler is just such a dunce. Like, you don't take Tyler seriously. But I think that I don't hate Tyler. I don't find him annoying. He's just there. He's just
Yeah.
like, he's one of the few non-important characters that I don't dislike. I think I'm like, oh, cool, it's Tyler.
Yeah.
How do you feel about him? Because if it were me, I would put him towards the bottom of C or towards the top of D.
I would put him. Yeah, he's very mid-tier to me. I think he's
Very mid.
very nice. I do like that he is really into Lindsay. It's not like this is the most
Some
pure
douchebag.
relationship of the
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not some douchebag. They're just two really nice people that like each other a lot. So I don't fault them for that. And he's fine. But the only thing I can really think of that he did was, like, catching Duncan and Jen or Gwen. I'm sorry. Duncan and Gwen sinning. Like, that's all I remember of him doing. So
our brains are getting fried, Gia.
I know, it really is. We're really pushing right now. I would put him. I feel like he's above Noah, honestly.
Listen, I'm with it. I like Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Tyler is mid as mid could be with Sam. I'm fine with that. These three are definitely as mid could be. That's funny.
This is like the ultimate mid, is the Sam, Tyler, Noah group.
Yeah. Cody. How do you feel about Cody, or do you want me to go first?
No, I can talk about Cody. I feel like my opinion of Cody is very concise. And, like, first season, Loved Cody, especially when one of the things I really liked that they did with him is that once he found out that Gwen and liked Trent, he actually was like very accepting of that and actually like helped them get together and was able to accept the fact that they were friends, that they could be friends, him and Gwen. And then it got completely undone once Gwen and Trent broke up. And that just felt like a big character derailment. So it's like, do I just rank him on the parts that I like, which is Total Drama Island? Or do I think about him with drama and World Tour? And because I hated him in World Tour, I just did not understand why we had to deal with him for so long. And he's another one that I feel like is so overhyped.
You know, my problem with Cody is that he's very superficial. So, like, I actually like Cody in Total Drama Island, right? I think that, you know, nerdy guy trying to get with Gwen doesn't work out. You know, but I think that they grow a friendship by the end of the season. Was he in action? I don't think so. So World Tour, he comes back. And you got a girl who likes you. I mean, you don't have to like every girl that likes you. You know, it's fine. You don't have to reciprocate it. Very rude to Sierra though, but you're still simping for Gwen, who obviously she ain't into you, brother. And you know, I was just like, I don't dislike Cody in World Tour, but I don't love him. Like, I'm just very indifferent.
Yeah.
He doesn't really do many things gameplay wise. Unfortunately, the guys never accept him, so he's stuck with the girls all season, and even the girls kind of treat him like crap, like Courtney and Heather.
Well,
and all them
but
hate
look
him.
at the women that he was with. Like Heather and Courtney are not nice people, and that is why I love them so much. So they just don't. It's not Cody specifically. They just don't treat anybody nice, kindly. Yes. I do want to see Courtney and Heather be friends, though, because like that is the toxic duo I am here.
They're too toxic to be friends.
Just hear me out on this though. Like them, just very like in an effective alliance. I would eat that up. I would love that. That is too powerful, and I don't care.
So Cody, where are we putting him? I'm like,
I think he's got to go after. Okay, honestly, I would put him above Mike. Or no. I would put him below Mike,
Dakota?
above Dakota. I think it would put him below Mike, above Dakota.
I agree with that. Sheesh, let me unzoom. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the list is Izzy. Oh wait. No, wait. We're not. Beth. Sorry, I was going backwards. Beth, one of our. So real quick, is Beth or Duncan your winner for TDA?
Beth is my winner for TDA, but I don't want to live in a world where Duncan wins. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't want to deal with it. And I think that like the unexpected winner is an appealing trope to me, and that's definitely Beth. However, she's definitely our worst winner, right? Like above in terms of like effectiveness as a winner, she's definitely the worst one.
I don't even see when I watched on Cartoon Network, and this was a fun season. They let you go on their website and choose who the winner is.
Yeah.
And on my TV broadcast, Beth was the winner.
Yeah.
I don't accept Beth as my winner though. I think Duncan is my winner.
See, I do think Beth's win is definitely the one that I saw on Netflix.
That's the one I saw too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just never, and you know, maybe this is more of a me problem, but I've never paid too much attention nor respected Beth's game because I just never cared for her too much as a character. Like, all right, in Island, I really liked Beth sticking up for herself and going against Heather. I didn't like that she had the Boney Island statue like that. What are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
But you know, she gets her braces off in action, more confident. Her and Lindsay are friends, you know, but it's just like the way I saw her was like a Katie and Sadie until like Lindsay leaves, and then like I guess she's doing stuff. She has like this very like cringe kiss with like Harold, but she has a boyfriend. It's just like a lot going on.
I feel like Lindsay is the more fleshed out character of the two. Just so up to Beth be like a Lindsay Duncan final two makes a lot more sense to me, but Beth is like an unexpected winner, and I don't hate it. And I actually do like
Yeah.
how they constructed the finale to be that, like, the reason Beth did so well in the finale is because she knows all of the personal traits about everyone except Courtney, and Duncan only knows about like Courtney's personal traits.
Yes.
And
I
so like
agree.
that, and I liked that was emphasized in there. But that being said, like, she's very mid in her first season. I do also like how she stood up for herself with Heather, but then other than that, I just am like very, like, in terms of the winners, it's very much like Justin to me. If I'm looking at the villains, Justin really fades into the background, and if I'm looking at the winners, Beth does the same thing.
Beth, literally, after she wins, you like never see her again.
Yeah.
Like they do, like they treat her like she's like you see Duncan plenty. You don't really see Beth or ever
Yeah.
again after show. So, um, in terms of ranking, I think she's mid.
Yeah.
Now where exactly?
So like I want to put her at the top of C because she is a winner.
I respect it, and
But
I think that her moment with Heather was pretty good though.
yeah, I think the 2 seasons that she was in were not bad. I would put
Yeah,
her, yeah, I think top of C is perfect. I would not put her any higher though.
I respect it.
Yeah.
All right. I got in a little argument with some friends over this yesterday, so we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna
Oh
rank the
God.
CIT, the real CIT here.
All right. Wait,
Courtney,
what are your thoughts? I need to hear.
I love myself some Courtney.
Oh
I
my God.
love
Okay. I was
Courtney.
about to cry if it was Courtney's my favorite character. I
Yeah,
love her so much. It is a crime that they have done her so dirty for so many seasons. This is the character that I need to see more of, almost above anybody else except for maybe 1 or 2 people. There's like 3 characters that are coming that we are going to talk about that I really need to see them get a win at some point. And Courtney
yeah,
is one of them. I love Courtney. I love how evil she is. I love how determined she
so
is.
toxic.
Win at all costs. She is far superior to Duncan, so I don't know why they insist on continuously making Duncan out to be the good guy of this pair. I love her so much.
Literally, I think Courtney is so interesting because she started off as a hero and then slowly but surely just turns to such a rude person. She gets done dirty with Harold, obviously, and she falls in love with the
Yes.
bad boy. But then the Chris lawsuits come in, and it just like it doesn't stop, man. And I think All Stars was a great little arc for her. She has a relationship with Scott now. Finally moved on from Duncan. I think Gwen did her extremely dirty. I don't care how toxic Courtney is.
Oh,
Like
we will get to
we
Gwen.
will
Let
get
me
to
tell.
it,
We will get to Gwen.
but like I feel like Courtney is toxic, and this is what a lot of people aren't going to understand. Courtney is a toxic character, but I feel like she's so toxic because she's done and provoked very wrongly. The first time is when Harold switches the votes. The second time is when Chris provokes her, and then she has to go into lawsuits for it. And then the third time is when Gwen kisses her boyfriend. All 3 of these moments are justified in my book. So she doesn't do these things first, she retaliates. And slowly but surely throughout the series, she just gets tired of it and she just turns to a very, very rude person. I like toxic people, villains, bias. If you don't like it, make your own list. Screw you.
Yes.
She's a S tier for me. I love
S tier.
Courtney.
I think of the S tier characters that we have had so far, to me, she is top of S tier.
I am with it. I like
Yes.
Courtney.
And I agree. I like your analysis of it too. Of like, listen, she is someone that has just been done dirty so many times. And
Yes.
it's like the show expects her to just be okay with it. Like, why would she
Right.
want to be friends with Gwen or even talk to Duncan or any of this other stuff? Like, it feels weird that we're kind of expected to accept the fact that like Courtney is in the wrong for being cheated on. Like, no, let's be
No.
serious here.
I love her.
Yes.
Harold. How do you feel about Harold?
This is another character that I feel like they want us to like that I just cannot get with. If he ever comes back,
Really?
he needs to be a first boot. Like, he has his moments. I am fine with it. I understand why people like him. But first of all, it made no damn sense for him to rig the votes against Courtney when Duncan was the problem here. And he definitely could have voted him out. He did not have to do Courtney so dirty. And I just think he's like very meh in a lot of his seasons. Love that he quits over to save DJ. Big fan of that. And yeah, that's about. I think he has his moments. They want us to root for him. I am not a big fan of Harold personally. That being said, he does have excellent taste in women.
Listen, Harold is a top tier character. I'm so sorry. This is one of the few times we've disagreed this whole podcast. It's crazy. I love Harold, man. Like the beatboxing challenge was crazy.
That was funny.
The dodgeball, like, you know, he's so bullied by Duncan, DJ, and Jeff this season. They make him piss his underwear. They put hot sauce in his underwear in season 1. And then what happens? This guy says, screw you guys. I'm going to cheat and flip the votes.
Okay, no, but who does he? But Isaiah, who does he flip the votes against?
I don't care. I don't care.
No,
I don't care.
I don't care. If he was serious about his threats, he could have taken out Duncan, Jeff, or DJ, and he did not do any of that.
He did that, but guess what? We wouldn't have seen the reaction of Duncan. You want to know what's the best type of toxic retaliation? Seeing your enemy's reaction to it. I'm gonna take your girl out and see what you do, bro. Like, I think that's so funny.
It is very toxic, and I understand why as the show they did that, but it makes no sense for Harold for that to be the way that he retaliates.
But listen, then there's also action, and you know, like every time Harold plays, he's a high key one of the better competitors out of all these people, these challenges. Like this guy,
like challenges, definitely.
Yeah, like he has no business being this good. This guy's like a ballerina dancer, freaking like he just has all these secret talents. Like he's so freaking cringe and weird. Like I'm never gonna forget the last episode of Island, where Chris puts the $1 million back into the island.
Oh, and he's working with Heather.
He has to work with Heather because no one else likes her. And like he is so cringe and it's hilarious. Like Harold has moments for me. Like he's entertaining.
Oh no.
God.
I will give you that. He definitely has multiple moments here. So I will give him that. That being said, it's just not. He has ups and downs with me. There are moments where I really like Harold, and there are moments where I just don't see the point anymore.
Okay.
That being said, though, I definitely would have preferred to see Harold over Sam in All Stars.
100%.
Like if they were looking for like the nerdy returning
100%.
character, I think it makes more sense to bring Harold back.
100%. Harold, to me, is an A or B lister. I just think that he has too many moments that can be ignored. Like I think, and then like the relationship with Lashana, doesn't someone else Beth kisses him too? Harold pulls. That's also another thing. He's very funny. Like I just
he
like
also
seeing this
was
nerd.
in the band, the Drama Brothers.
That too. I remember the nunchucks with the ninjas, and then he hits himself in the head. Like,
all right. I will.
We just underwear in the middle of the floor.
All right, I will. All right, I will give you top of B, but I think I think the A and S tier are going to be very full very soon, and I don't think Harold belongs there.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Respect to Harold though. Hey. Eva. I'm not an Eva fan. I don't care for much for Eva. I think her performance in Island when she returns was pretty interesting. I liked her dynamic with everyone. I didn't mind her being uber rude to Bridget. I thought it was funny. I love how they try to jump her in like the dare competition and like throw her inside the ring with like the Sasquatch and Aqua, and then like she literally like skins him and makes him into clothing. Like she is freaking hysterical for me. But I don't know, Eva's just too one track, and like she belongs in Pakithew Island at this point. Like she's just like angry, and that's it. There's no like off switch. She's always at a 10.
Yeah.
The iPod little storyline was pretty funny. But you know, she's just a plot device at this point.
Yeah, that's really all she is. And I think this is a character that I feel like they could do something more interesting with her if they were to bring her back, because she only competes in Island, right? She's not in World Tour either.
I can fact check that while you talk.
Yeah, but she's more of a plot device than anything, and I think they had the better version of Eva with Joe. So
That's
I
true.
would put her in D above Justin.
Yeah, she's only competed in Island.
Okay.
Yeah, she's only competed in Island. So
Yeah. Actually, I would put her after Blaney. I think they like somewhere in D between Justin, either somewhere between Justin and Leonard.
Eva, Justin, and Leonard. I would put her under Leonard, to be honest with you.
Would you put her above or below Katie and Sadie?
Below.
Yeah. All right.
I'll put her right there.
I can put her. I can work with that.
I think she's like, she doesn't have much to going on. Like,
yeah.
I lied. I'll put her above Katie and Sadie.
Okay, keep the pinks together.
Yeah, she has a lot. Her return. She just has a lot going on. So
yeah.
You know, but yeah. All right. Next is Trent. I have some feelings about Trent. You want to start off or you want me to go?
I think that this is one of the characters that they screwed up the most. Like,
man.
Without I feel like there were several reasons why they could have just broken up Gwen and Trent if they wanted to keep them separated without doing all of this with the upset. This is another one where I just hate how they portrayed the mental illness aspect of it. So I'm not very high on Trent. He's just like very forgetful in the grand scheme of things outside of his relationship with Gwen. I think that like him and Gwen actually went pretty well together. And that's it. That's really all I remember about him.
Yeah, I'm just like, sorry, I had to change the format. But Trent. So I just did my rewatch with Sabrina and Lance like a couple years ago, and you know Trent is very much a plot device for Gwen. Like he is a plot device, right? And action is his time to shine. And oh, my God, it was bad. And you know he joins a band off screen. And you know like he's like the ladies man, he still loves Gwen, and then they kind of like gaslight him in the after show when she kisses Duncan. But it's just like, you know, Trent's personality and existence in general is just to be Gwen's ex. Like he doesn't really have much going on. Gameplay wise, you know, it was interesting to see him with the guys for the one challenge in Island where, you know, it was guys versus girls, and I thought that his dynamic with them were fine. But Trent doesn't have a personality of his own, and I think that's always going to hurt him. If it was just Island, he'll be pretty fine, but overall, like he's a D-lister in my opinion. I don't care too much for Trent.
Yeah, I think he's like, I would put him after Justin, honestly, because he's just not very impactful, and at least Justin has the villain arc in action, as boring as that was.
Agreed. It's just that like I don't know, and then him going crazy and counting things, and the fact that he sabotaged his team in action to try to help Gwen, it was just tough.
That was so without even asking Gwen. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Almost done, G. I know we're almost there. All right. We were almost there. 2 hours and 30 minutes. We're crazy, yeah. We're crazy. I only do. Yeah, listen. I only do streams like this like a few times a year, Gia.
Yeah,
so
same.
There.
This is worth it though.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do fine here. Bridget, go.
I feel like this is actually the most mid of all players in here. Like, come on. Like, I would put her definitely above, like, Dakota onwards. But, like, I would put her pretty high in the C column. but like what has she really done in
Nothing.
her 3 seasons? Like very mid overall.
So I actually did a fun little simulation with my friend. What happens if certain people aren't rigged out the game? So rigging uh Harold rigging Courtney out, and then Lashana getting rigged out by production. Bridget does pretty well. She doesn't win, but she does pretty well. I think her island game is pretty good as well.
Yeah.
But after that action, she's literally just Jeff's boyfriend. And then World Tour, she's kissing a pole. You know, like
Yes.
it's such a downfall from greatness for Bridget. So I like Bridget, but I just don't care too much for her after her first performance. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
think this is another lost potential character. I think there is a world where she could be a winner in the future, but yeah, she doesn't have much depth to her. She was definitely one of the more likable players of like the likable girl characters that we see, like the, you know, the easygoing fun loving people that we get, but other than that, I just don't like that's pretty much it. And I like her more than I like a lot of characters like that, but in terms of like impactfulness, it's just not there for me.
yeah. So I mean, do we put her near Trent then?
Yeah, I think that makes sense, honestly. Like
Okay,
above, for me, she's above Trent, but
agreed. I mean,
yeah,
she's playing more than him, so I mean, she has
yeah.
to. Um, all right, so now we're getting to the big dogs. We're getting to the more interesting characters. I think
Yes,
everyone
I am
left
so
is
excited to talk
interesting.
about this lineup that's coming up.
So first, we could talk about General or Lieutenant Lindsay or hotness. You could talk about Lindsay. Um, Lindsay is such a great character, and I'm glad that they put her in All Stars. I'm sad she was first boot, but such a fun character. First of all, I loved her being the sidekick of Heather and eventually losing in a very epic fashion, cussing Heather out, and lost because of technicalities. And then in action and world tour, she's more of a best friend figure, but she's very fun. She's very silly, and she has moments. And then all stars, you know, obviously she's first boot, but I love Lindsay. I think she's an A tier player. But how do you feel about her?
Oh my god, I love Lindsay. Love her. This is the, you know, like hot girl done right. Like this is she's pretty. She's one of like I think she is framed to be like the prettiest girl there. It's like something that's
Hmm.
referenced a lot there, but she is like, and she's a little dumb, but that's fine. She's actually a very nice person. She values her friends. She's very nice to her boyfriend, even though she has some trouble with finding names, but that's totally fine, Lindsay. That's honestly, that's on them. But I really like Lindsay. She's definitely an A tier player. I'm very sad that she was first boot in All Stars. I've seen like very many comments on social media that like if the boot order in All Stars was reversed,
Yeah,
that would be an excellent season. And honestly, I kind of agree with them. There are a couple like Courtney and Scott definitely deserve to be bumped
yeah,
up a little bit, but I other than that, I do want to Lindsay is the other there's two characters in the remaining list that we haven't ranked yet that I want to see win a season. And Courtney was one
absolutely.
of them. This one is Lindsay, and I think it'll be very easy to determine who is next coming up that also
Yeah,
deserves to be in there. But yes, I do think Lindsay is honestly, she would be like, I think she's
top of
top of
A.
A.
I agree.
I think she's
Yeah.
top of A. I think if I'm ranking my personal favorites, she would be S tier for me. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think top of A is good for her.
That's what it feels for me too.
Yeah.
Um, how do you feel about DJ?
Okay, I'm actually very excited to talk about DJ
Okay.
because I hear me out now. DJ is actually has a lot of potential, but he lacks that killer instinct to him.
Courage. Yeah.
And but then what like DJ could be the social player that we see highlighted the same way that Beth was. Like DJ has never been voted out in a normal way. Like, he was technically voted out at World Tour, but then Harold quit in his place. And that was just because he lost a challenge for the team. But then he was taken out of Island because of the horror challenge. He doesn't what was it? Because they didn't like that he was scared the most or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, that's a stupid way to get eliminated. They didn't even vote him out. He quit in action because of everything that was happening with Chef rigging it for him. And then he was disqualified in World Tour just because he was the last person left on Team Victory and there was no one else to eliminate. So there is potential for DJ to go far as a social player. And this is a character that I personally would have loved to come back in All Stars. Instead, someone that's not as tangled up in the personal drama of a lot of these players. So like, as I think that we definitely need to see DJ play again. I really like DJ.
Now, shout out to DJ. I think I really liked him season 1. Like, the rewatch made me appreciate him a lot more as a character. I think that there's definitely room for him as a character. I wanted to see him and LaShawna have a thing going on because I remember she kissed him on the cheek for one of the challenges, but that ain't happening. But no, I like DJ. I think him and Chef, Chef trying to help him out that one season was funny. We've only seen him play twice, right?
No, he was in World Tour as well.
Oh, see, I don't even remember him in World Tour,
He was in Team Victory, and he was the last player left in Team Victory. And the only reason he got eliminated was because he was the only one left on the team.
Got it. See, I don't remember his performance in World Tour.
Yeah, he actually made it fairly far compared to like the rest of Team Victory.
Got it. But no, he's always been a fun character. I think there's always going to be room for a DJ in these casts. But where would you put him?
See, I really love DJ.
So
and I don't think he is the most effective player, but if I'm talking, like, I think he's above Cameron, but he didn't make it particularly far in any of his seasons. So I would say above Harold, personally. And I will actually, now that I'm looking at it, if we're also talking about like effectiveness in the game, I will put DJ after Zoey. But in terms of my personal preference, he is above Zoey.
Let's put him right here.
Okay, perfect.
I'm with that. I feel that. Because I was like, there's no way he's going lower than B. I just didn't know where.
Yeah.
Okay. Izzy. I am such an Izzy fan. I love Izzy. She's never going to win a game, but she's such a top tier character for me. Island. I just love Crazy Girl. I loved her so much. I changed my when I was younger. I made my Xbox username eScope because that was her name in action.
Oh, yeah.
Kaleidoscope, whatever. But there's literally breakdown videos on like, is Izzy like really crazy? Like,
I saw that today.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I mean, even like the moment where she sees Mal, and she's not even in All Stars, but she sees Mal when she's guessing for a challenge. Izzy's just a fun character. The bear costume's freaking hilarious to me. I remember she got bit by the snake. The fight scene with Chef is so fun. Like, her rivalry with Chef, so good. I remember her and Owen kissed for the first time. I was shocked. And then, she was like, "You want to make out?" Sure. And then Owen's sipping for her for like the rest of the series. Now I love Izzy and her character, and her being chased down by the government and everything is just so funny. I will put her in B tier, but how you feel about Izzy?
Oh, I really like Izzy. I think you're right. This is a character that can come back so many times, and it's still going to be funny every time. And I don't have any delusions about her winning a season, but even the little guest appearances that they do with her, I think they use her quite well. And I can't say the same for other characters. Like, this is this is a character that they don't force down our throats. This is a character that they use very sparingly in a great way. So yeah, I really like Izzy. I know you like Harold. I think she is more impactful to the series overall than Harold. She's just a chaotic force.
Oh yeah, top of B for sure.
Top of B.
She's so crazy. She had Explosivo, Kaleidoscope, eScope. I remember they tried to vote eScope out they tried to vote Izzy out, and she said that I'm only leaving if you call me E-Scope, and she
Oh
gamed
yes.
the system because she's like, I'm Izzy now. Like she has such a problem, bro. Like I hate her.
I love her so much. Yeah, exactly. There's no chill, there's no rhyme or reason, but they can put her in pretty much any situation, like where
She'll always do
Revenge of
fine.
the where in like Revenge of the Island, she was one of the people that came back for challenges, and she was great.
Yeah. Okay. Jeff. It's funny, real quick. Sidebar, spoiler alert. Outside of Lashana, the entire final six has won a season of total drama
I
in one
hate
variation,
I
which
hate
is
that
crazy.
fact so much.
It's crazy.
It's
But
so
yes,
annoying.
5 of the final 6 has won a season of total drama in some way, shape, or form. And Jeff is one of them. I don't care for Jeff. I think Jeff is kind of annoying. I think Party Jeff I think Jeff in Total Drama Island is the best version of Jeff.
Yes.
But afterwards, the making out in action, then him being a complete and utter jerk in the after show was so annoying. And the fact that we were forced to watch the after show week after week was annoying. The after show, I felt bad for him in World Tour because his girlfriend tried to kiss somebody else, but still, like, Jeff is just annoying. So I didn't watch all of Redonkulous Race, so I can't speak on him in that, but like I'm just not a Jeff fan in the mainline Total Drama series.
I do like him a little. I like him in Island. I think he plays his role perfectly in Island. I did not need to see him again after Island. Like, I think that was like, he is there to be chill. He was very friendly. I liked his friendship with Gwen a lot in the episode that he was eliminated. So I feel like that is like an unlikely duo, like friendship duo that we could have seen moving forward. That's kind of how I feel about Jeff. And I do actually like him and his friendship with his Redonkulous Race partner, Brody, in Redonkulous Race. So he's very enjoyable there. But if we're talking about him in the great span of things, I feel like he's like top of C. He's just like very bland to me. He has his high points, but he has a lot of low points as well. And I don't enjoy him as well as I enjoy like DJ, who's the other part of this the trio of guys on, I think they were Killer Bass.
Yes. Now I agree with that. I was very indifferent on Jeff. I don't really have a specific place to put him. I just knew that he was like a C-lister, so I feel that. These next 5 are all heavy hitters. All right, so we both agree Lashana is S tier, so there's not really much to talk about. No,
she is S tier. Please tell me how racist is it that everyone in the top 6 except Lashana has gotten a win when she was the most robbed out of this final 6? Like, in what world? The audacity of Fresh TV to play us in our faces like that and not even have her on All Stars? Not even have her on All Stars. The disrespect.
Oh man, you'll love Lashana. Even though she had a little villain era in Total Drama Action, I still love Lashana no matter what. She's just a great character. Where do we want to put her? We don't need to break her down. We love Lashana over here. Okay,
we love Lashana. She is S tier. I would say in terms of like the overall S tier, is she the most impactful player in the season? No,
I don't think so.
No, like I think the other 4 have a higher impact in there, but she should have won a season by now. It's just fact. That is like the fact that she has not is total bullshit. So she needs to be an S tier, but in terms of impactfulness in the game, I think this is the correct way to put her at the end of S tier.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Next we have Duncan. I love Duncan. I will say that. Rewatching season 1, I did not realize this till rewatching, but Duncan is such a strategic player in season 1, making the guys alliances, calculating stuff. If Harold didn't cheat, Duncan is in power for like a lot of this. And even though Harold did cheat, this guy still gets his way to Final 4. And it's just great. I love Duncan. He even makes an alliance with Heather at one point for strategic reasons. I love him in that. He's a menace. I love him as a bully. Him coaching his team during the dodgeball tournament was so awesome. We continue it on in action, even though action's more so of his toxic relationship with Courtney. I still love him and Courtney as a couple. You know, you can see some Gwen tricklings in there or whatever, but you know, it doesn't go anywhere until you get to World Tour, and this is where it's
Yeah.
bad.
Speaking of cheating,
It's bad because this guy cheats. But I'm gonna be honest with you. What do you expect? This is the punk rock punk like from Juvie. Like I knew Duncan is capable of something like this, and I knew it was happening. I was just shocked that it took them to World Tour to do it. I thought it was going to happen in action.
yeah.
Very fleshed out character. Even in him and Gwen are interesting, but even in All Stars, like I'm shocked that they broke up. I thought they were going to be there for a while.
Ugh.
Duncan in action is probably his weakest performance. I don't like that they made him good. Like I wish they could have just kept people straight heroes, straight villains, and maybe a couple
Yeah.
people can go back and forth. But Duncan being goody two shoes bothered me because it's like you guys are trying to make this a joke, but like
Yeah.
Duncan, it should be a bad guy. Like, come on now, he's a villain that carves skulls into freaking trees, like the Green Mohawk. I love Duncan, and he's my winner for action personally. But how do you feel about him?
Duncan is a dirty cheater, and how dare he disrespect my queen Courtney on a public platform like that? I cannot. The thing I agree with everything you said. I will say that. And there are parts where I really like Duncan, but from like cheating on Courtney onward, I can't stand him because it's not even like, first of all, Duncan and Courtney are the superior couple. I know they are so toxic, but like
I agree.
those two terrible people
Alphas.
belong together. They belong.
Yes.
Yeah, they right. We can agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel like I don't understand the Gwen drama with everything, and I feel like Gwen is so passive for Duncan. Like I don't get what the appeal was there.
I mean,
But
they're both goth aesthetic.
yeah, but
Rocket Chicken
still.
Go.
But like, what are all the things he liked about Courtney? Like how stubborn she is and argumentative and stuff. Like Gwen is just not that. And
I think she is when provoked.
when provoked, but like I still. And then he like never has that growth that I like in other players. Like Duncan does not what's the word for, like, he sees nothing wrong with cheating on Courtney with Gwen, but then he also does not see anything wrong with when he is obsessed with Courtney in All Stars. Like he does not understand that like what he is doing is messed up both ways. And like, do I feel bad for him? No. But is he an effective player? Absolutely.
I think All Stars definitely messed the trajectory up.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best villains that the show has had because, like, literally, you don't like him. There's a reason. He's supposed to be this bad boy from Juvie. You know, it's like So,
but I wanted him to get a little karma, and I don't like that. Like he keeps like in World Tour, he should not have outlasted Courtney. Like that was some bullshit. And he cheated on her. No, absolutely not. And like we were saying before, Courtney is like just fed up with a lot of this. And I like that she gets some of her power back in All Stars, but I don't like how he just like never apologizes for any of that. And it's not in like a villain
Juvie.
But it's not like a villain thing. It's just him having no growth. Whereas like Heather is just a bitch and she's not going to apologize for anything because we know that's just how she is. Duncan genuinely thinks that like he is in the right for whatever he does with no repercussions.
And he's low-key a softie because I'll never forget like the bunny thing with Duncan. I mean with DJ, for example, you know. So so where do you want to put him? Because this is going to determine how low we drop him. Because he's an S for me. I love Duncan.
I think he's S, but he's not going any higher than above Lashana.
Okay.
And that's
and that's. Do you truly believe that? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, I do believe that. I don't like him. I don't like what he did to Courtney. There is no way that to me he is a better character than Courtney, but. And it keeps me, it warms my soul to see that he is above or that he is below Courtney right now. But that being said, I don't see how like in I feel like there are areas where he needs to still be like more of a fully fleshed out character.
Okay, I
Yeah.
respect. I mean, come on now, Heather, top of us, right?
Heather is total drama. Like, let
Okay,
us be perfectly clear here. She is top
come on
of
now.
everyone. There's these two that we are about to talk about. They are not touching Heather
They're
and her
not
greatness.
at all.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Like, I
I
don't even need
honest.
to go on a tangent about it, but
Oh wait, hear me out on this though. I don't personally think that A tier should be less people than B tier, or like S tier should be more people than A tier right now. Like, the unbalancedness is throwing me off right now.
so
What
what
if
you
we
trying to
put
drop down?
all I'm saying, hear me out. I kind of think we need to do Izzy through Sean to A tier.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I think, yeah, this feels right to me. And I
This feels
think those,
better.
I think Izzy, Harold, and Sean are very strong players and are big parts of the franchise. And I think once we get to DJ, I love DJ, but if we're talking about impactfulness, I think like he is kind of like the best of this tier.
Agreed. I agree
Yeah.
with that. All right, so we got our final two of season 1. We have Owen first. Owen.
Can I
Um,
ask? I
go
have a
for it.
question. Who was your winner of Island?
Owen. And
Me
this is why.
too.
Even when Heather, she shouldn't win that. Even when Gwen wins in her alternate ending, right? Gwen
Yeah.
wins because Owen goes to brownies, not because she beat Owen in the race.
Yes.
So that's always going to drop Gwen down because Gwen didn't really win because of her own like strength. She won because
Yeah.
Owen was being stupid. Like
So
Owen is in front of
yeah.
her no matter what in every single race for me. So yeah,
So should we talk about Gwen first? Because she's
sure.
also, I think Owen is also the winner
I'd
for
rather
me
end
in
on a
total.
positive on a
Yes.
positive ending anyway because it's gonna get
Yeah.
very toxic in a second.
Oh
So
yes, this is probably my. I said before I think Scarlet was my most toxic opinion, but I can't
I
with Gwen.
don't like Gwen at all.
I don't like Gwen. Is she a
No.
big part of the franchise? Yes. I cannot stand with the whiny, never at fault attitude, the pick me-ness of it all with her
Very.
issue with Duncan, and and obviously Duncan is the one most at fault here, but like, come on, this was Courtney and you were supposed to be such good friends, and
I'm so
now
shocked they put this in the show.
and they put in the show, and then as soon as All Star starts, she's like, well, they weren't together at the time. Bitch, please, you knew what you were doing, otherwise you would not feel bad about it. And she
Yeah.
got worse and worse with every season, and I was not a huge fan of her
Yeah.
in her first season. Like, this is the epitome of like, we want you to like this character, so we are going to make everything about her everyone else's fault.
Listen, Gwen was awesome in her first season. I love Gwen. I just did
Yeah.
the podcast in Sabrina specifically is a Gwen super fan, and my heart is breaking for her when she watches World Tour because she's going to end up hating her.
Yeah.
Like, like even in action, I don't mind Gwen either. You know, like I think Gwen's fine in her first 2 seasons. Every other season is horrible for her, and you know it's kind of poetic in the way that they wrote her because it's like you got certain characters with like huge downfalls. Like I think Courtney, Gwen are perfect examples of characters who start off as heroes and to turn to like villains. But
Yeah.
Courtney is a favorable villain. I just don't like how Gwen moves, man. And
Courtney,
you know, I feel bad, but
no,
like,
you know what? Courtney embraces her villainhood. Like, look at our
yeah,
S tier. Everybody that is in our S tier embraces the worst parts of themselves. Like,
yes.
that with Gwen, it is Nicole Franzel, professional victim esque.
And
Like,
it sucks because she wasn't like that originally.
no, and I can't deal with it in her future seasons, honestly. It's like everything is everyone else's fault. I don't like it. I don't understand why people love her so much. I do not like her. That being said, she is
A
a
huge character.
huge character of the
Huge.
series,
Huge.
but would I I
I'm not
honestly
putting
would.
her in S tier though.
I'm not putting it. She's absolutely not going to S tier.
No.
I honestly would not. If we're talking, since we're factoring how much we like her, I'm not putting her in A tier either. That is too good for her.
I'm perfect. We can put her in B tier. I'm perfectly fine with that.
I think she can be top of B tier.
I'm with that. I'm just not a Gwen fan, man. Like
I'm not, and I will
you know,
not apologize for it.
no, and it's like I wasn't on a Gwen train in Island, but I understood it. Like I thought that she was a great character in Island. They just did her so dirty in World Tour in All
Yes.
Stars, but they even put her on the villain tribe, which is crazy. But
I love that they put her on the villain
yeah, that was
tribe.
great.
Though. Like it's so fun, and she still didn't get it about like why she was on. I'm like, girl, of course you are on the villain tribe. Get over there. Now, Courtney be on the hero tribe. That is a completely different. That should never have happened. But
It's just so funny
yes,
because even the voice actress, she voice acts Jen in 16, and like I'm just like, you got goody two shoes on both sides, but this one specifically, Gwen. It's unfortunate. Gwen is a nice girl, but she did some foul shit, and it's never gonna
nah,
like, it's
nah.
always
I
gonna
can't
follow
stand.
you.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves is like people like this who do terrible things and then act like they are the
Every single
victims
time,
because they did this terrible thing.
right? I agree.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did that one so we can end on a
I
positive
know.
note. How do you
What
feel
did you
about Owen though?
Okay, so here's the thing. I think this is definitely a character that they use way too much.
Way too much.
Way too much.
Yo,
Like
here's the worst. Go ahead. I'm so sorry. I cut you off. Go
oh
ahead.
no, I'm thinking like I think they should use him like they use Izzy to be in like he's every season. He's not going far. He makes a pretty decent run in a lot in the seasons that he does, including Redonkulous Race. But I think having him here and there in different seasons as like little guest appearances makes sense. Like his little cameo in Revenge of the Island, I think was very good. Have him in Redonkulous Race. I did like him in Noah as a friendship, but I don't think he needed to be in action and what was it? And World Tour.
World
I
Tour.
think yeah. I think that there were like they either should have made him not last as long or they should have had him come in for like guest appearances in at least one of them. But I really liked his win in Island. I
Yeah.
actually really like this is not just with Total Drama. This is also with like Survivor, Big Brother. I actually really like when the winner is unexpected, especially in Survivor. Like I do very much enjoy when I do not see the winner coming, but it still kind of makes sense. And for a season like this, where everyone, especially towards the end, is at each other's throats, there's a lot of twists in there. There's a lot of unfair eliminations. I do actually like the fact that Owen comes out of this on top where he's not really involved in all of the drama that the other characters were in. Like that is a very satisfying ending to me.
What's crazy when I did my podcast with Sabrina and Lance, at the end of each podcast, I would have them rank who they think is the most likely to win. They looked at it at a strategic aspect and they had Owen clocked like by episode 3, which is crazy. And I'm like, you guys are seeing some I didn't see because like how the hell did you call that? But he really just doesn't get into any drama and
Yeah.
it carries him to the end. But I think he was a perfect first winner for the series,
Yeah.
and it leaves a lot of mystery for these other, because listen, I would never root for Owen in another season, no shade.
Yeah.
So it's like it leaves Heather and Gwen and Duncan, LaShawn, it leaves all these like great players, like you
Yes.
want to come back to the series to watch them try to win, so
Yes.
I think he was a great first time player. He shouldn't, all action, coming back for action, it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like him returning to be like a spy for Chris. That kind of ruined it for me. And then World Tour, they didn't need him there. Now I will say it's ridiculous he wasn't an all-stars. How do you have Sam in here, but Owen, the first winner and one of the most iconic characters, is
Yeah.
not in all-stars? Is crazy.
Yeah, actually that is probably the best replacement for Sam. If we're talking
Yeah.
about like who
It makes no
should
sense that he's not here.
And it really doesn't. And it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like that it's not that he wasn't in All-Star. I think they could have had him take a break in world tour, or at least have him make like little guest appearances in there and then
Mhm.
bring him back for All Stars, because his storylines are just so disconnected from the rest of the cast. Like, I feel like Heather, Courtney, Duncan, Gwen, Alejandro, like they are all very interconnected in their personal drama and everything that
Yes.
goes on in the season. And Owen just kind of does his own thing. But that's what makes him such a great winner for the
Very,
first season, is that he's not involved in all of their crap.
very.
Yes.
To end him off, is he an A tier? I think he's an A tier, right? Or is he an
I
S tier?
think
Or what? Where are you putting him?
I think he's A tier.
I agree.
I don't think
Um,
I
he fits literally in any of these slots for me.
I feel like, well, okay, I do not think he deserves to be lower than Cameron. I think he's at least higher, but it's like, where do I put him in between there? Yeah, actually that does make sense to me. Right above Joe.
Okay.
I think he is overall more impactful to the series, but in terms of like likability and the characters that I am rooting for, then I think like Lindsay and Jasmine are really great representatives for like the best of A tier.
All right. So listen, this is officially my longest ranking stream because literally
Woo!
me and Lavina ranked every Big Brother US jury and up player,
Oh my
and
god.
we had to split that in two halves. But one of the halves was 2 hours and 45 minutes. This is officially literally just hit 3 hours. So this is our
Oh my
longest
god.
podcast ever on here, which is crazy. But this is a fun time, G. I like
I
this a
had
lot.
so much fun.
Yeah. So we
Can you
have
screenshot
Heather.
that ranking and send it to me? Because
I'm gonna download it. Right
okay,
when we end,
perfect.
I'm gonna download it and I'm gonna post it on Twitter, and everyone can tell us how stupid we are.
I don't care.
Um,
They're wrong.
wow, but that is our podcast or stream or whatever you want to call this. 3 hours deep. We're crazy, man. But this is a great time.
I am
Uh,
so happy with our rankings though.
yeah, no, that was a great time, man. Gia, where can people find you? Where what are you up to? For anyone
Yes.
who wants to see what you're doing.
All right, so you can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Classically Gia for all of my reality TV shenanigans. Also on Twitter, please follow the Survivor Diversity campaign at Serve Diversity. That's at SURV Diversity. Here on Silent Podcast, I am doing the regular recaps for Survivor 44 on I Don't Know About That. So tune in. I'm very excited for next week. We are going to be talking about the not merge or mergatory, and that means that we are bringing back who all going to be there to talk about it in our annual, or I guess seasonal, not merge roundtable. Also on Inside Survivor, I am doing the weekly roundups with my good friend Christine. And finally, Abbott Elementary has a few episodes left, and so do Chappelle and I with our bi-weekly recaps. We're on a little bit of a break right now as we're waiting for these new episodes to come in. So once those are in, we will start recording. But I am very excited to see how the season ends. And then I'll be free for the new season of Total Drama. So thank you so much, Isaiah, for having me on to have an official Total Drama ranking.
Of course. And if you haven't already, specifically if you want to hear more of Gia, make sure you check out our audio platforms, and you can follow all of our social media platforms. We do have more pages that is not Twitter now, so follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We have not posted on it just yet, but we have some content coming to, and our Patreon is dropping very, very soon. So make sure you check that out. And if you want to follow me for any more content from me, you can follow me at 8ballbangers on all social media platforms. Big Brother Canada still going on. So you can join me and the Bounce Checks crew every Friday to recap the series and what's going on every week. We had a crazy week last week, so you want to hear that. And usually every week we are doing the Big Brother review podcast. We are taking this week off, but we did do Big Brother for last week. So if you want to go check that podcast out with me and Sasha to hear us talk about June Song and the rest of all of them, please go check that out. But until next time, this has been a very fun podcast. I'm Isaiah. Have a good one. Bye.